हाँ बाद में बात करूंगा घर पे। हे हाय गाइस, गुड मॉर्निंग। सॉरी कॉल वॉल चल रही थी काफी भयंकर एंड फॉर श्योर just quickly hi hello sorry for being late. I was making notes for question number 4 and if you can see the question number 4 notes are actually in your description itself. So that is it. Yeah, but meanwhile how many folks did how many questions and all that stuff, if we can just quickly know that part, that would be great. Cool. So the folks are watching. Hello Ash got wrong answer on C after passing some cases, looking forward to the solution. Yeah, for sure we are gonna look at the solution. It's actually brute force kind of stuff. That would be good. Good morning Ashutosh, good morning Atishay, cool 1, no worries. Abhinav Garg, cool 3. We'll see all 4 questions, no worries at all. Arnav Gautam, how much today's C's will be rated on core forces? It would be actually rated as 1500 or less, 1200, 1300, 1300, yeah, 1300 or 1400, like this. Cool. Shanka D2, Siddharth, hello. Rupankar 2. But yeah, meanwhile the folks are watching and joining in, can we please smash that like baby to 10 likes? That would be great. Rotation order wasn't clear in C. Yeah, the question was a bit ambiguous in C. They should have explained it much clearly, but the example itself is solved. So basically, rather than the question itself, the example itself solved the issue which they were actually trying to convey. So yeah, for sure. Shankar, good morning. Rupankar 2, cool. Webhav 2, no worries. We will see, primarily see. If you had been beginner and all that stuff, problem 4 might be a bit difficult to actually get the intuition of. I'll explain entirely, but to get the intuition of, okay, how to solve, what next to solve, all that stuff, it might be a bit difficult, but we'll actually see the 4th question itself entirely from very scratch. Cool. Let me quickly switch back and start with the questions itself. Meerut ho ya Bangalore, but background same kaise hota hai? So basically, I had been in Meerut. I came just recently. So, yep, that is being edited and coming in. Meanwhile, let's quickly, yeah, if the folks are here, well, let's quickly jump on to question number 1 and 2. That's pretty easy. We'll just quickly skim through it and then we'll reach to question number 3 and then the prime question number 4. For sure, that would be great. Cool. Let's quickly jump on to question number, and yeah, if the folks are much curious for question number 4, I have provided the notes and the code for question number 4 down below in the description itself, in the beginning itself. So you can actually have a look at that. Meanwhile, let's quickly jump on to the explanation of question number 1. Neither minimum nor maximum. It's very easy. You are given an integer array called as nums consisting of distinct positive integers. No worries at all. Find and return any number from the array. Okay, I have to return any number from the array such that it is neither the minimum nor the maximum value in the array. Okay, I have to return a number such that it is neither minimum nor maximum, or -1 if there is no such number exists, which means if I have this particular numbers, the minimum number is 1, maximum is 4. I have to return any other number other than 1 and 4. Okay, I can return a 2 or a 3. So I can easily return a 2 or a 3 and 2. One such number I can return, and that's the answer. For 1 and 2, minimum number is 1, maximum is 2. I want to return any other number other than 1 and 2, but I cannot have any other number, so return -1. For 1, 2 and 3, minimum is 1, maximum is 3. Other number which is not in a maximum is 2. So as simple as that. Weak constraints are pretty low, very simple, very basic. Just quickly go. Firstly, as soon as you want to find the minimum and the maximum, either you can have a simple for loop and find the minimum and maximum, but if not, simply sort it down. The first element will be the minimum and the last element will be the maximum one. Cool. The first element, and see, sorting is not required at all. You can simply apply a loop and simply a for loop or simply O of n and simply find the minimum and the maximum. But it was just very fast, very basic. Just quickly go through it and getting the minimum value, getting the maximum value. Now just skim through the array and see, okay, if any number you find which is not minimum and also not maximum, if that is the case, then simply return that particular number which is not minimum or not maximum. If entirely skimming, like entirely going through the entire array and still you cannot find any number, simply return a -1. And that's how you can simply solve the first question. It was very, 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 very easy. So let's quickly jump on to question number 2. It's also pretty easy. But yeah, meanwhile, if we can reach to 15 likes, that would be great. We're going to see all 4 questions, quickly going through question number 2, and then we'll go on to question number 3, and then question number 4. 15, just one more, that would be great. Bhai stack and queue ka playlist finish kar do, please. See, we have the entire playlist for that stack and queue part. See, that is not something you can finish off because it is just the problem, like the playlist, which has the prime problems of stack and queues. So just go through our playlist. It has around 8 or 9 videos, and that would be great. See, stack and queues are something which you will learn by applying it in the problem itself. Okay, I will not say okay that's passive because we have problems of parentheses and all that stuff of stacks. It is good, it's easy, but not that okay. I'll primarily go and finish that part. So yeah, sorting it, I said that sorting was not required at all. You just have to go and find minimum and maximum. You can just go and iterate entirely and find the minimum and maximum. That would be itself more than enough. भैया D करवाओगे क्या? हाँ भाई, प्रभात D होगा, for sure होगा. मेरठ sort, that is क्या? See, in question number 1 and 2 is simply because the constraints are pretty low and you have to solve it fast. So please don't think much. Whatsoever comes in your mind first, just implement that. Because constraints are very low for question 1 and 2, and simply don't optimize question 1 and 2 because that is not required in question 1 and 2. Take any 3 elements and return the middle of them. That's also correct. After sorting, return A1, but note that if array size is 1 or 2, return -1. Correct. That is also correct. Boss, thanks for that. I have a problem in finding the edge cases in the question, so I do a wrong submission. No worries at all. It happens, but yeah, cool. Let's quickly jump on to question number 2. Lexicographically smallest string after substring operation. It just says that it's also easy question. Like not exactly very easy, but kind of a medium question, I should say. That just find the cases and you will be good to go. But yeah, meanwhile, if we can reach to 20 likes, yeah, you are 35 people. Like lads, like for sure you have been coming again and again. If you have not smashed that subscribe baby, subscribe that. Meanwhile, let's smash that like baby itself. Cool. You are given a string S consisting of only lowercase English letters, and in one operation, what you can do is you can select a non-empty substring of S. See, non-empty substring of S. You have to choose a substring of S. Have to choose. It is that okay? You can't skip it. You have to choose a non-empty substring of S. Possibly the entire string also. A substring can be entire string also. Then replace each of its character with the previous character of the English alphabet. Which means if I choose a substring as let's say if I choose a substring as let's say this F. If I choose this as a substring, I have to replace every character with the previous character in the English alphabet, which means Z, A, and B. If I choose this particular substring, cool. Now, for example, B is converted to A and A is converted to Z, as I showed you. Now, I have to return the lexicographically smallest string, which means if I have the input as the string S, I have to return this string S, lexicographically smallest. Cool. Can you obtain or perform the following operation exactly once? And see, you have to apply the operation exactly once, which means you have to apply this operation. Have to apply this operation. No, you can't run away from this operation at all. Cool. A substring is a continuous for short, whatsoever it is written. It is just saying, okay, what is a substring and what is a lexicographically smallest substring. Now, in these kind of questions, the example itself helps us to actually visualize what should we do. If you look at the first example, I have C, B, A, B, and C. For sure, while looking at the example itself, I remember I could know one thing for sure. I want to have a lexicographically smallest string of S. If it is S, I want the lexicographically smallest. And the operation I can apply is choose a substring, and then every character will be replaced by 1, like go previous by 1. So for sure, I will just try to start from the first character itself because it is C. Because if I just replace this C, it will become a B. So it's always better to start from the first character itself. Okay, cool. What I will do is I will start on the first character. I will replace this C. Now I will for sure keep on going. I will replace this B also. Now, shall I stop or shall I keep on going? Now my option is one is I can replace my A with Z. But then if I would not have replaced A with C, I would have stopped right here. Then it would have been A, B and C. But if I would have replaced, it would have become something like this. So for sure you can see it is lexicographically smaller, right? So as soon as I could see, okay, one thing by looking at the example itself, I realized that, okay, I will start from the first character itself. I will keep on reducing it. But as soon as I find the A is something it cannot reduce. A, if it gets reduced, it will become a Z, which will actually increase. So A is only a special character which will actually, on being reduced, it increases. So what I will do is, I will try to start from the first character, keep on reducing every character until I find a A. And that is how I will simply convert my starting those characters to a previous character and simply remain, like make the other characters remain same. By this, I am actually converting my one substring. And simply, my prime condition was substring starting from start. But I have looked only one example. Let's look at the other example. So basically, by looking at the example itself, I'm bringing the information out from all the examples. Cool. A, C, B, B, C. Now, Aryan, you said that you should start from A. You should start from the start itself, which means start. But it was the condition when it was not A. If it is A, then for sure, please stop right there. Go and find some other character after A, just after A. Maybe it had more A's. No worries. Just find some other character just after A and then try to keep on reducing that until again you find the A. Let's say it is like this, until again you find the A. By this, you are not replacing this part of start. You are only replacing this part which is after A came and until a new A is coming, just following the above condition itself. So just tweaking the above condition which we had figured out, and by simply saying, okay, if I had a I will just skip those starting A's because I don't want to reduce those A's. And then I will, as soon as I find something else, I will just keep on reducing, which means I will reduce this to B, A, and B. And that is how, for this particular example itself, I will get a I have a A, C, C, B. So I will just replace this and we'll get a B, A, and B. And that is simply the answer. So now you have saw two things. I will try to start from the first letter itself and try to replace that with the previous character. If it is a, I will skip all the A's in the beginning and then we'll try to replace that same stuff until I get another A. Cool. Let's look at the other example. If I had a Leetcode, for sure it's not a, so I will try to replace it and keep on replacing until I find a. I had not find any A, so I will replace every character with the previous character and I will get a K, D, D, S, B, and C, D. And that will be my answer. But it is okay. That would solve the problem for sure. But just one thing, while you were solving this, did you realize one thing? Aryan, A. But what if all are A's? Which means, what if all are A's? What will you do now? And for sure it is said, okay, you have to do one operation. Then if I have all the A's, earlier what I was doing was I was going in the end and simply just finding, okay, if all the A's are finished, any of the character starts in, I will just start to modify that character. But here I cannot. So what should I do? I should simply replace the last character with a Z, because for sure A will convert to Z only. I should not replace any of the character with Z, because if I have an option, I should only replace the last character with the Z. And that is one edge case which you had to figure out while looking at this example itself and trying to figure out the solution. Okay, you are skipping all the A's, but what if we have only A's? Then you will skip everything out, but still you were said you have to apply one operation exactly once. So you have to apply an operation. So simply apply the operation at the last A itself, which means earlier, let's say if I had only one A, no worries, apply operation on it and you will get a Z, because you have to apply an operation. And that is simply, you have to do this problem. Simply start from the very beginning, skip all the A's. If let's say all the A's are skipped, then for sure you will just pull back one A which you skipped and then put a Z at the end. Else, if you have any other character, then start to modify that character with the previous character until again you find the A. These 3 steps you have to perform and you would be good to go. Cool. Let's quickly jump to the code. It's very, very easy. Exactly what we saw above. Just 3 conditions and simply we are done. But meanwhile, if we can reach the likes to 30, that would be great. 30, great, cool. Let's quickly jump to the code itself. I just firstly get the length, no worries. Then I have this index which will keep on saying, okay, I am moving at this ID index. And then I have this answer which will have the final string as answer. Now, what I did was until here you will see, until I am having all the A's. I'm skipping all the A's in the beginning. Okay, if I have A, I'm just skipping all the A's, which means my answer will have all the A's. Cool. I'm skipping all these because I want to reach the other character which is after A. Let's say C, D, and so on and so forth. So I will skip all the A's, and for sure, when I mean skip, I mean I'm not applying any operation as such. So I will just push in the A itself. But we saw also that, okay, if there would have been no other character, which means if I would have reached at the end itself, which means all were A's, I did not find any other character itself. So for sure, remove that last character which was A itself and simply put a Z in the place of that, because last character was A. So simply place a Z and simply return the answer. Now it will just say, okay, you have reached the end, you have all the A's, simply remove one A at the end, put a Z and return the answer. But if it would not have been the case, I would have simply gone and see, okay, it is C, D, E, F until I find a new A. So I will just keep on going until I find the A, which means I am keep on going and doing pushback of that previous character of S of I. S of I is the actual character and minus is the previous character of S of I, and I will just keep on increasing my ID. But as soon as I find A, I have to stop right there, which means as soon as I find A, I have to stop. I only modified this particular thing, which means to B, C, D, and E. After that, everything will remain as it is. Okay, I just stopped at that particular A. I just pushed back in and then I have put in my ID, which means this will actually go on and will put in all the other remaining characters, which means A, D, E, F, and C as it is in my answer. So it is put it as it is. It is being modified to the previous character and again it is put it as it is. And that is all. You put that character as it is in the final answer. So by these 3 steps, you can easily find your new modified string, and that is how you can simply solve this answer. Cool. Let's quickly jump on to question number 3. Meanwhile, if you have folks any other doubts, any other stuff, you can quickly add in the chat. And we are actually moving on to question number 3. Can we reach the likes to 35? That would be great if the folks are still watching in and are still curious to know about question number 3. Let's quickly jump on. It was actually an easy one because of the constraints. Constraints were actually pretty low. So for sure, it was an easy. Not so easy because the problem statement was a bit confusing, but no worries at all. We'll actually see that entirely. So cool. Question name is collecting chocolates. What it says is, but yeah, meanwhile, if we can reach to 35 likes, 35. Cool. Collecting chocolates, we are having a 0 index integer array called as nums. Cool. Of size n for sure, representing the cost of collecting different chocolates. Cool. Each chocolate is of a different type, and originally the chocolate ith at the ith index is of ith type. Cool. Let's say if I have the chocolates as type 0, 1, and 2, 9, like, right? Then the cost. Okay, in my operation, you can do the following operation with incurred cost of x, which means simultaneously change the chocolates of the ith type to I plus 1th type for the indices I, which means from I is from 0 to n minus 1. And if the I is n, then please roll over it, which means, as we know, if we just roll over, we just make it duplicate as such. No worries on that part. The chocolate will be changed to the type of the chocolate of ith index and so on and so forth. So basically, this thing nums we are given, and now I am saying, okay, what is the minimum cost to collect all the chocolates of all the types? Type is given, cost is given. Now, to just do one, to do a one change, this x is required. To perform this one shuffle, which means one next operation, this x is the cost incurred. and this is the cost which is actually being incurred standardly. Now, I am saying of type 1, the cost is 1, right? Of type 2, the cost is 2. Of type 0, the cost is 20. Now, I have the chocolates at all the types, which means I have chocolates at all types. And I want to return the minimum cost to collect chocolates of all types. I have to collect chocolates of all types. And also that conveyor, you can see it is moving and it is bringing that chocolates again and again to different types, which means earlier, let's say I have this particular types. I have the chocolates, let's say C1, C2 and C3. In the next, when the conveyor moves, and the conveyor movement cost is, you can imagine it as a conveyor movement cost is X. When the conveyor moves, what happens is it will become C1, C2 and C3. The chocolate came here, chocolate 2 came here, chocolate 3 came here. Now, to collect this chocolate 1, earlier the cost was 20 because it was at index 0, because it was at this type. Now, to collect this chocolate 1, it is at index 1, which means it is at type 1. So the cost would be 1. So if I had given you an option, okay, to collect this chocolate 1, either one option is that earlier it was chocolate 1 was here, chocolate 2 was here, chocolate 3 was here. Either you collect this chocolate 1 at type 1 itself, then you would have incurred a cost of 20, right? Now I say, okay, if you just shift this conveyor by one step, now by shifting, when I mean the cost incurred so far without even picking any chocolates, the cost incurred so far is 5. Now to pick this chocolate, let's say chocolate 1, the cost incurred will be of type 1, and type 1 cost is actually a 1. So you will get the cost as 6. Earlier, by no movement, you got the cost as 20 of chocolate 1. By just movement of 5, it became of type 1, and to get the chocolate of type 1, you are getting a cost as 1. That is how what the problem is saying, that okay, you can move this conveyor as many times as possible, which means you have this particular belt where the chocolates are written. You can just move this belt as many times as possible, but ultimately what you want to do is find out the minimum cost to collect all chocolates of all the types, right? Given that, you can perform as many operations as you would like to do. So you can just understand that particular part, okay, how you will get these chocolates. Now, firstly, very basic thing for sure. If we have the chocolates with these cost initially, and my conveyor cost, my movement cost of movement cost is actually a 5. And for sure, when one thing came in my mind is, okay, I can actually rotate that. When the things can rotate and it can go in, which means in the next step, it can go to 0, 1, 2, and 0, 1, 2 can actually go to a C1, C2 and C3. Next step, my 0, 1, 2, it can go to a C1, C2 and C3. So earlier I saw, okay, it was C1, C2, C3. In one rotation, it moved to C1, C2, C3. In one rotation, it moved to C1, C2, C3, C1, C2, C3. Next rotation, it will again move to C1, C2, C3, which is nothing but back. So now we know one thing for sure. I can just show this movement by simply saying, okay, rather than have a 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, I can say C1, C2, C3. Sorry, I have C1, C2, C3, C1, C2, C3, right? So as simple as that. Rather just take it as 20. What was the cost? 20, 1 and 15. 20, 1 and 15. So to incur the cost initially, my cost will be nothing like this. It is nothing but 0, 1, 2. Next time, it will be nothing but 0, 1, 2. Next time, it will be nothing but 0, 1, 2. It is just saying, okay, for type 1, the cost was actually 1 here. Now for type 1, the cost is 15 here. Now for type 1, the cost is 20 here. So just saying, you can just place the chocolates like this and try to bring in the cost as minimum as possible. Let's quickly see this example, how this example is done. By that, it will get, see, this problem statement was super confusing as told by many people itself. So to get the actual, okay, what the problem is saying and how to do it. How to do it is pretty easy, but the problem itself, okay, what is the cost, what's the chocolate, how this chocolate is getting value. I just showed you by different example altogether. Just imagine as a conveyor belt and the chocolates are written on that. You have to grab the chocolate from the conveyor belt, saying, okay, chocolate of type 1, if it is of type 1, I will incur a cost of 1. So either I can just get the chocolate 1, either I can just get the chocolate 1 from type 0, then my cost incurred would have been a 20. I can get a chocolate of type 1 and I can get the cost incurred as 1, or I can get a chocolate of chocolate 1 of type 2, which means at location 2, which means I will get the cost incurred as 15. As simple as that. It is how you can simply translate it in your own language. Now, as you saw the above example, you have the cost as 20, 1 and 15. Initially, when the chocolates are at these locations, to grab the chocolates itself, I just would have incurred a cost of 20, 1 and 15, because no movement cost is 0, 0 and 0, right? As soon as one movement is done, which means you can just shift this cost. Now the cost will be 1, 15 and 20. Either you can shift the chocolates or you can shift the cost. Anything will work. I shifted the cost itself. 1, 15 and 20. So next time for this chocolate 1, chocolate 2, chocolate 3. Now for this chocolate 1, cost incurred will be 1, it will be 15, it will be 20. But also we did one shift movement, so extra addition will be a 5, extra addition will be a 5, extra addition will be a 5. Cool. Now if we do one more movement, what will happen is it will just get, okay, 15, 20 and 1, just one more movement and it just get back a 15, 20 and 1. If I get a 15, 20 and 1, simply say, okay, the cost incurred is 10, 10 and extra 10. So now I want to grab all the chocolates. So why not grab this one cost, this one cost, this one cost, and this 10 is the actual last shipment, which means shift which was done. Cool. It is one such, okay, walk through of the example itself. Now my main task, if I just draw this particular stuff, now my main task is to what? To get, okay, I just know, I just want to grab the minimum cost at every step. Minimum cost at every step. Shall I grab the minimum cost of this particular thing? No, I cannot, because I saw the 5 was never counted here. The 10 was counted ultimately in the end. So at every point of time, I have at every shift, I have to know the count. Okay, what is the cost right now? What is the cost right now? After doing this one shift, what is the minimum cost I can have? And I can see, okay, for every time I can just find the cost entirely. How? Because the constraints are just 1000. I can simply go my algorithm to n square. So I know I can do my shifts multiple times, and for every shift I can go and find what is the cost right now. What is the cost right now? Cool. Now when the rotation done is 0, no rotation done at all, what is my cost initially? It will say my cost initially when the rotation done is actually a 0. My cost initially is 20 plus 1 plus 15. Okay, the minimum cost. But next time when I will just rotate it, do I want to modify this value as 1? Because next time when it will rotate it, it will become as 15 plus 5. But I was super happy with this one cost. So what I will do is I will keep track, okay, for every chocolate, what is the minimum cost it could have seen so far. For chocolate 2, minimum cost it could have seen so far is 1. So next time when I'm gonna find the cost again, I will just say, okay, as I do a shift, I show how to do a shift itself, but yeah, as I do a shift, my cost incurred will be 1 plus 1 earlier, because right now it is having other value which was 15. But I'm not counting 15 because 1 was the smaller value which had occurred already before. So I'm only concerned about minimum value occurred so far, and I'm doing just rotations. So 1 was occurred so far, I will not replace this one. Cool, no worries. This one, I got a new minimum value because earlier it was 20, now it is 1. Cool, I will just grab this one. Rather than 20, I will replace this 20 by a 1, which is I have got a new minimum value. And then this is 20. Earlier it was 15. For sure, don't replace it. Just keep it as a 15. So right now, I will just say at the step 2, when rotation done was actually a 1, my cost incurred will be nothing but 1 plus 1. And I'm saying it's a minimum cost incurred so far. It will be nothing but 1 plus 1 plus 15. But is it the answer? No. I have to also add what? Rotation cost. Rotation cost is nothing but it was impacted my I, which means my rotations done so far. Okay, I've done one rotation. For sure, the rotation cost added will be nothing but rotations done into my X, because X was the rotation cost. And I've done only one rotation. So simply rotation cost into my cost of rotation. That would be also added. But it will be at this point of time, at this one rotation, what is the minimum cost I could incur? Okay, cool, no worries. Let's go for the next rotation. Again, I will just say, okay, minimum value, it was having 1, no worries. It was also having 1, no worries. It was having, earlier it was 15, but now I could see it could get a cost as 1. So here the minimum cost itself is also a 1. So basically you saw what? For every chocolate, I am keeping track of the minimum cost it could have. 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 I'm not updating if the cost is already minimum. If it can become minimum by doing a rotation, I am just updating at that point. So now the cost, I will again check. Okay, what is the cost like? Cost is nothing but 1 plus 1 plus 1. Cool. But okay, I did rotation as twice. So rotation did twice and X was nothing but 5. Rotation did what? Twice. So I will just have to add an extra 10 to this particular cost, which is 10 plus 3, which is 13. So now I get, okay, after doing no rotations, it is my cost, which is 36. After doing my one rotation, it is my cost, which is nothing but 5 plus 15 plus 2, which is 22. And after doing rotation as 2, it is my cost. And at every time, I'm keeping track of the minimum cost at every point of time. And that is how I can simply say, and because for sure, it's very easy. It is just 1000 particular chocolates. And for every chocolate, I can have 1000 rotations at max. So for every rotation, I'm keeping track, okay, for every chocolate, what is the minimum cost so far? Every chocolate, for what is the minimum cost so far? And I'm keeping track of the minimum cost. And at every rotation, I'm trying to find, okay, what is the minimum cost if it would have done 1 rotations, if it would have done no rotations, if it would have done 2 rotations, and so on and so forth. I'm going on and finding for every rotation, what is the minimum cost it can have. And by this, ultimately, I will get some, and it can ultimately go on for up till n rotations, because this array is of n size. It can have n rotations in total, so it can go up to n rotations, but anywhere in between it will give me the minimum value, which is my answer, which will say, okay, at this number, let's say at this rotation, let's say 4 or 5, I get the minimum value. So that's the reason I have to go and not greedily, in a brute force way, go at every rotation 0, 1, 2, 3, and find, okay, at rotation 0, what's the minimum value I can get? At rotation 1, what's the minimum value I can get? At rotation 2, I can get how many minimum values? And that is how I'll simply go and find the minimum value, minimum sum or minimum cost at every rotation, and just impacted by that rotation, just find the minimum value itself. Let's quickly see the code. It's pretty easy. Just what exactly we saw was the main part. And also, as I showed you, whenever a rollover stuff or whenever a something, okay, I say it will rotate back to the array, then we can simply know, if you don't know one thing, if we have a concept of rotating, so I can simply print the same stuff down in the next part, so that I just showed you. If earlier I had to go on this particular part as 0, 1, 2, which means earlier my cost incurred for type 0 is 20, 1 is 1, and 2 is 15. Next time, if I want to rotate this, so I can simply put it like this. Now the cost incurred for type 0 is 1, 1 is 15, 2 is 20, and so on and so forth. I can simply go on. So basically, rotation, when it is said to us, the best thing is to actually place the array again and then iterate on this particular portion like this. and ultimately it will just repeat the same stuff. So ultimately keep on going like this, like this, like this, and so you will get the rotation logic by just simply linearly iterating. So you don't have to do a I plus j modulo n, all that part, although you can do it, but yeah, it is much more easy to visualize in the contest itself if you just place the array again. Cool. Let's quickly jump on the code, but yeah, meanwhile, if we can reach to 50 likes, that would be great. 50 likes. If the questions you got, the entire logic, how we thought, how we get it, all that stuff. Cool. Let's quickly see the logic. We'll also see the rotation logic, how that rotation is done. Firstly, I have this array which will keep track of every chocolate. What is the minimum? What is the minimum? What is the minimum? Okay, that I have deleted. But yeah, for every chocolate, what is the minimum cost it can have so far? Cool. It will just keep track. Okay, initially it is placed to maximum, but yeah, I want for every chocolate, what is the minimum cost it can have so far. Now, as I said that I need to have a rotation logic. So for that, I just place the entire array nums again in front of my array. So either I can modify my nums array itself, or I can use any other array called as x nums, y nums, exactly any nums, nums2 or anything other than that, and place that nums again in that particular array. Cool. So I just use another array and place the nums back again entirely so as to make something like this. Now I have just repetitively repeated the same stuff twice. Okay, it was here, now it is again here, so that I can just use that rotation logic. Now answer is long max for sure. It will just keep track. Okay, what is the, for at xyz rotation, for at let's say 8th rotation, what is the cost like, and I will update the cost with this answer by saying answer is equal to minimum of answer comma sum. This sum is the cost at that particular rotation itself. Cool. Now I am going at every rotation. Now as I go into every rotation, I will just find, okay, for that particular rotation, what is the sum incurred if I choose all the minimum whatsoever I have. If at the rotation number 1, at the rotation, let's say it is rotation number 0, rotation number 1, at rotation 1, what is the minimum cost I have incurred? And the cost is nothing but rotation into x plus the actual cost of every chocolate, and this cost is keeping track of the minimum cost so far by using this array called as checked. Cool. What I will do is I will try for this rotation, I will try to go on this entire array, and firstly I have to update my checked, but with what? With the new rotated value. Earlier what we saw was, earlier my rotated value were for 0, 1 and 2, it was 21 and 15. For the next rotation it will be nothing but 1, 15 and 20, which means for type 0 it is 1, for type 1 it is 25, for type 2 it is 20. For the next rotation it would have been a 15, 20 and 1. So I can simply go and say for this rotation, okay, let's say the rotation was done once, so now the cost incurred is 1. Earlier for my checked of j, which means, okay, my j is let's say 0, my checked of j, it is earlier 20, but now I am comparing this checked of j. Checked of j is having the original value, earlier value, earlier minimum value for that particular chocolate, which was at index 0, but after rotation by one step it will become to j plus and rotation, let's say by rotation of 1. So rotation did by 1. So now my that chocolate which was at 0, at after one rotation it will land to this particular location, right? My chocolate 0, it will land to this location because it will say 0, 1, 2. So my chocolate 0, which was actually j, it will land to j plus rotation. So its new cost incurred will be 1. So I will just compare, okay, j plus to rotation of my particular this nums array, although I have modified my nums by placing my nums again. So I'll just say, okay, my j plus rotation value, it is 1, which is the new, after doing one rotation it is the new value, and earlier when the rotation was not done it was having the minimum value as this checked. Anyone which is, if it is greater, please update my this checked, because I want in my checked it is keeping track of the minimum possible value possible, right? So I will just update this, my checked of j by this minimum value, which means my nums of this particular j plus rotation, which is nothing but 1. Else if it is less, then please don't skip, please don't have a look at it and simply go. So basically I'm just saying, okay, for this checked of j, which is originally for this particular chocolate j, chair chocolate, at the rotation, when the rotation are done, rotation are done road times, the new location of the jth chocolate will become j plus root. Now this is the new location of my jth chocolate after doing the rotations, right? And I want to say, okay, if earlier the minimum value so far is being stored for this chocolate or for this jth chocolate, my minimum value was stored in the checked of j. If it is more and I'm getting a lesser value at the jth rotation, so please update my checked, which means the minimum value for that chocolate, for that jth chocolate by the rotated amount. Okay, the rotation I did, let's say 1 and the j was 0. So what is the amount here? If it is less, then please update that so that I will get the minimum value for that particular jth chocolate, which is in this check. Now ultimately when this is being done, it is just updating the at every rotation, if any chocolate is being impacted and getting the minimum value, I'm just updating that here. As it is being done, also parallelly I need to make sure I need to get the sum of all the minimum values for all the chocolates, which means as I was keeping track, okay, I was grabbing the sum of all the minimum cost of all the chocolates and I was keeping track. But ultimately it is the sum part. It is the sum part. It is a sum part, this part only. But you also saw the sum is also nothing but rotation into x. It is the entire sum. So I will just simply say, after following the entire loop, which means going on to every chocolate at the rotation times, okay, it is the rotation. At this I got the sum, but yeah, that sum also need to get added with the rotation into x to just add that rotation effect, rotation cost. So that rotation cost is also added in my sum. Now my sum is complete. My sum is entirely complete at that particular rotation, and by that sum I can just update my answer by saying, okay, if my answer is getting affected by that rotation, so basically it just says at this particular rotation my sum, my cost is nothing but this sum, and I want the minimum cost, and I will just try for every rotation itself. So I'll get the minimum cost itself, and ultimately I just return that minimum cost, which means that cost at some random rotation, because I tried for every such rotation, right? I hope that you guys got the entire logic. That is not an easy question. The submissions were actually pretty less. If I just go back and see the number of submissions, it were not that much. It was just 1600, and usually for question number 3 it is never the case like that. It's more than 2k. So yeah, if you have got this question, and even if you have got 50% of this question or 60%, then also is super great. If you will watch this video again or just have a skip through and just try them by yourself, okay, I have the rotation, I want the cost, I want the minimum cost at every rotation, I want to keep the track of that minimum cost, and ultimately I will just grab, okay, for that rotation what is the cost like. You will be easily able to understand that fact as well. But yeah, for before that, if the folks are watching and liking this, we'll quickly jump on to question number 4. That was actually a hard question, but yeah, before that, if the folks are watching and liking that, can we smash that like baby to 50 likes? That would be great. Super great. Quickly, let's go on to the code comments also. That would be great too. Can you please explain in Hindi? See, it's very easy. Hindi is not something, okay, I don't know or I'm very bad at. It's very easy to explain in Hindi, but I'm just trying to explain the code part. You have seen, okay, the Altu Faltu ki videos are mostly in Hindi because it's beneficial for us. If we listen something in Hindi, we just get used to it, and it is easy for us to explain that in English if we are in interviews and stuff. So I just try to bring in that particular part. Although, see, अब मेरे लिए बहुत आसान है इस चीज को हिंदी में समझाना. कोई बहुत बड़ा काम नहीं है, कोई बहुत बड़ा तोप का काम नहीं है, and it is more easier, and for sure it's more easier for me to in English part. but still I just try कि मैं हिंदी इंग्लिश में समझाऊं इस पार्ट को, because it actually builds in the speaking capability. And see why the people say that you should watch English movies to get good in English, and thus the same reflex watch English lectures to get good in English, and that English reflection will actually help us. Oh, it's just bullshit, but yeah, that English reflection will help us. And fourth question, rating on CF, that would be around 1800, 1800 और 2K 2000 होगा, because candidate master, हाँ मतलब यार होगा इतना तो, because it was actually a hard one to get the logic itself. It was a hard one. So fourth question would be 2K. Problem D, 1800 to 2K for sure. Question number 4. Cool. Let's quickly jump on to the comments, and then we'll quickly jump on to question number 4. And for sure, parallelly, if you guys want the notes down, I have put the notes down in the description also. You can just open that parallelly also. But yeah, I'll explain entirely brief. Let's quickly go into the comments. Rotation logic, Q4, we use segment trees. See, for sure, the first intuition comes in as segment trees, but that is not required as such, because segment trees, as I said, segment trees, if the interview is asking you, then implementing segment trees in an interview itself, it's a big task, because the code is pretty big and it can have multiple cases. If you have a template itself in programming, in competitive programming itself, segment trees can be used. But in general, as a interview question, to implement segment trees, for sure, it means that question can be done by a NVIC tree if he's asking to implement that by a segment tree, or maybe that other ways around. For sure, that question can be done by a segment tree also, because it's just getting okay in this range, and it's more of binary search plus segment trees. But still, we will see not approach of segment trees, because that is for sure, but many people won't be knowing segment trees, and if they would be knowing, then for sure they would not be implementing that from scratch in a contest or in an interview. So we will see this question from the perspective of not segment trees, but logic entirely would be same. How we can optimize the queries itself, because we know for every query I need to find, okay, what is the answer for that query in n log n time, which means okay in log q or in log n time. So which means I have to go on and take parallelly both the input constraints and the queries. I have to go on and take them parallelly so as to bring the answer for every query. So binary search, yup. Question 4th, used binary search internally, and also the concept of getting maximum, minimum. But yeah, we can also use simply just a sorting part to get that maximum, minimum, and keep on updating the range what you can get by you say, okay, it's monotonic increasing or decreasing, so you just keep on updating your range with the actual updated final result. We'll actually see that 4th question entirely, but yeah, get logic hard to code. Yeah, that is correct. 4th question was also a bit hard to code, and also the question 3 was also a bit tricky to code if you had not known this concept of shifting and all that stuff. But yeah, not included at the first. Yeah, question 3 was not included at the first itself. Code and code was not able to solve the third during when the process. Now after listening to the explanation, this question feels to be pretty easy. Yeah, that happens to us. It just doesn't strike to us in the contest itself, but later it just feels easy and stuff. So cool. No worries at all. Q4 views secondary, that is done. By such cool. Let's quickly jump on to question number 4th. But before that, can we reach to Andakari Namaskaram? Sorting on numbers and sort query also. Yeah, Prabhat, that is correct. Because for sure, I want to bring in, and why that logic of sorting came in picture, we'll see exactly. But that's primarily because of the reason, because I am concerned about the queries which are bigger. That's the reason I will just use a sorting to actually go and use only the nums which are more than my queries. That is, we just think at the sorting in the first place. But yeah, cool. Let's quickly jump on to the explanation also. But yeah, meanwhile, if you guys See, question number 4 had only, I guess, let me quickly go and check, 265 submissions. So you're gonna see a very hard question right now. Understand that question? Just for the fact that you are actually trying to learn one of the hardest questions, just smash that baby and reach to 5 likes. That would be great. This shows you are actually concerned about your upgradation. What's the better saying? कि तुम अपने लिए अच्छा करते हो, मानते हो. Yeah, cool. Question is maximum sum queries. We are having a 0 indexed integer array called as nums1 and nums2. Each of length n. Cool. We also have queries where query of I is nothing but xi comma yi. Now what this query means? It just means that, okay, I have to find the maximum value of nums1 plus nums2 of j, such that my j is in the range itself, and also my nums1 of j should be more than my x, which is the query, and nums2 of j should be more than my y, which is the query. So for that query, I will go and find all the nums1 and nums2 j pairs such that both nums1 and nums2 satisfy this condition. Okay, nums1 of j is more than x, nums2 of j should be more than or equal to y. If it is the case, just go and find all such nums1 and nums2 pairs and then choose the maximum one out of all such pairs. The question itself was exhausting, right? Cool. No worries, we will see actually. We have to return the answer, which means answer of I is the answer for the ith query. So basically, I'm concerned about every query as such. Now, for sure, one basic thing which comes in our mind is, for every query, I will go on to my entire nums array and I will just go and see, okay, if that nums of I and nums of j, okay, I will go on to my entire j's, all the j's. I'm saying for every query, I will go on to all the j's and we'll see, okay, what all such pairs are there which satisfy the property, and I will just get the maximum out of all such pairs. The complexity will be nothing but q into n, where q is the number of queries and n is nothing but the array size of nums1 and nums2. And why q into n? Because for every query, I'm going on to the entire array again and again. Let's look at the constraints. Q is nothing but 1e5. N is nothing but also 1e5. Q into n won't work at all. I have to think of something else. And for sure, one thing I also know for sure, I have to go on to every query. I have to, because ultimately I need to return the answer for every query. So I will have to go at every query. Now, I have to go at every query. Cool, that seems fine. For every query, I need to know what? I need to know such nums1 and nums2 pairs, such that nums1 should be more than my queries x. This should be more than my queries x. Let me change the color. This should be more than my queries x. Okay, it is not still visible. Let's quickly see a green. It should be more than my queries x. It should be more than my query x. It should be more than my query x. And also the same, query y, more than my query y, more than my query y. Which means, let's imagine I'm concerned about a query, let's say Q1. That Q1, let's say, is having a QX and a QY, right? Now, I want all such numbers in my this particular nums array, which for sure, firstly, prime condition is my every number I should take, it should be having my nums of 1 as more than my query x. So I want all such numbers which are more than my query x, right? How about I just simply sort this down? Sort my nums1 down. By this, what will happen is I will get all the numbers. Let's say if I just say, okay, I will have, let's say if it just say, okay, let's give me all the numbers which are more than 4. So I will, if I just to sort this down, I can have all the numbers. See, right now I'm just thinking of the intuition part. Okay, how to actually think, and that thinking will keep on make us go at the actual answer. Cool. Now, firstly, I thought, okay, I want my query X and I want all such nums1 such that that nums1 should be more than 4. So I will just sort this nums1 down. I will get a 4, 5, and 6. Earlier it is 2, 2, and 3. Right? After sorting this nums1 down, now, what shall I do? I can do a binary search at this 4 and find all such pairs which are more than it. But if I just sorted my nums1 down, but you remember one thing, I want my nums1 of j and nums2 of j also. So basically I have to make it attached, make this attached, and then sort it down so that my corresponding nums2 should also be like this, which means I sorted my nums1, but the corresponding nums2 also gets sorted according to my nums1 itself. So basically, let's say the nums2 would have been 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 5. It is my corresponding nums2 because I have to attach. I could see I have to attach both my nums1 and nums2. So for sure, my one thing strike out to my mind is I want, okay, all such nums1 such that it is more than my query X. So I want all such numbers which are more than my 4. Okay, I can just get that all the numbers which are more than my 4. Now for that, I also want, ultimately I'm concerned about all the Y's also for those corresponding nums1. So I will just sort. If I am sorting my nums1, I should also parallelly make sure that, okay, nums2 are having the same pair as it was earlier. Cool. My nums2 look something like this. Now, again, I want to go and search for all the Q4s, all the QYs, such that my query of Y should be more than, sorry, my query, if I have this query, then if I have a number, so my number should be more than my query. Again, I have to go and do something here. That is not possible, right? Or it is possible. That is how the main tricks comes in. I just sorted this down. I know it is something like this. I have to sort it down. By this, maybe if any chance I can find, okay, for this query Y, what is the maximum such Y, which means I'm concerned about X plus Y and not only Y, because I want the maximum of X plus Y, but I'm also concerned about Y also, because Y will actually let me know, okay, Y should be more than equal to my query of Y. Ultimately, if it is the case, I'm concerned about my X plus Y. Now we got a brief idea of, okay, what we can do, how we get the intuition. Okay, we have to sort my nums1 and nums2 on the basis of nums1, and I will get my numbers. Now my task will be, okay, if I have such numbers, how will I actually use those numbers to find what is the maximum X plus Y? And also make sure I should be grabbing my Y itself. And please, folks watching in, can we please make sure that we keep on concentrating in this fact, because this question is actually the hard one. So please make sure that you concentrate entirely and see how the intuition is being built, and from that intuition how the logic will be built. Now I just make sure, okay, I'm concerned about Y also and X plus Y also for all these numbers, because Y is required to know Y should be more than equal to my query of Y, and X plus Y is required because I'm concerned about maximum such X plus Y for all such Ys. Okay, this is one thing. Now let's taking a step back. We just sorted my nums1. Now what if I ask you, the query earlier I asked you was a 4. Now let's say my next query would have been asking for a 5. So was it good that you restrict your range next time? And then let's say next time I ask you for the query, let's say query 3 as, let's say 3, then you will again open your range. Now you will by this, you will keep on shuffling your range again and again for all these queries. So if I just sorted my nums1 down for my queries itself, so why can't my queries can sort themselves also, so that I will keep on going linearly. I don't have to shuffle again and again between the queries. So if I did a sacrifice of myself, which means nums1, did a sacrifice, so my queries should also be much concerned and we should collaborative. मतलब थोड़ा उसको भी करना चाहिए ना, तो it should also sort itself down to actually get all the queries in the descending order, which means I will have my first query as 5 comma something, then 4 comma something, then 3 comma something, which means my query with having the maximum x is coming earlier. Now Aryan, why maximum x? You can sort it by decreasing, increasing any way you want, but right now I choose maximum x because no, I would know my 5 is here, my range is right now here. Next time what will happen is, as the smaller element coming in, so the range will always increase, range will always increase, range will always keep on increasing, which means I can keep on adding an element in my range. That is how, okay, initially by the instinct itself I got to know, okay, I have my arrays, I need to get for this query x, I want all such nums1 in x, so I have to sort my nums1 of x. I sort my nums1 of x, then for sure corresponding nums2 will also get sorted. Okay, nums1 and nums2 are now sorted according to nums1. Now if I'm just considering one query, let's say next time the query comes in as, let's say 5 or let's say 3, so it will just keep on shuffling between nums1 and nums2 range. So I want it should be increasing or decreasing. I want to go linearly. I can't go and shuffle entirely. So for sure I will just also sort my queries down. Okay, now I know one thing. Let's quickly jump on to actual part. Now you know the intuition. Now it will actually start to build in the logic. We have the nums1, we have the nums2. It is the same example as example number 1. Cool. Now, firstly, I said that I have my nums1 and nums2 as the pair itself. 4, 2, because see, 4, 2, because I'm concerned about these pairs, these pairs, these pairs, these pairs, these pairs. So it should get attached. My 4 and 2 should stick. My 3 and 4 should stick. 1, 9 should stick. 2, 5 should stick. So I just sticked them down. 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 9, 2, 5. It is my nums1, it is my nums2. But now it is sticked. Now I said I will sort my nums1 down. I've sorted my nums1 down, which means my nums1 will get sorted. And for sure, if these two are sticked, so nums2 will also get sorted. Okay, my nums1 gets sorted. I get my nums1 as sorted. My V, which I made a pair, which is nothing but a vector of pairs, it is now sorted according to my nums1. And I need to also make sure my corresponding nums2 get attached. So I attach it and then I do a sorting on nums1. Now I just simply sort it down. Now it has become a 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Just sort it down. And corresponding nums2 are also available for me. Cool. Thus I did a sorting. But we also saw that we have the queries itself. Let's say the queries are these. The first query is 4, 1. Next is 1, 3. Next is 2, 5. I also need to sort these queries down, right? I will simply sort these queries down also in the descending order. Why in descending order? Because we know we need to, as it is 4, so I can accommodate my 4 here, but I cannot accommodate my 3. So as I just go on to the next query 2, so I can accommodate my 4 also and 3 also. So basically I don't have to remove any element. I can just keep on pushing my elements. That is why I just sorted my queries down in the descending order. Cool. Now, Aryan, you just sorted the queries. How will you return the answer itself? Yeah, that is a big question. So basically, if the queries earlier had indices as 0, 1 and 2, I need to make sure I also maintain, the new indices for these queries are nothing but 0, 2 and 1. So please make sure that you have a map or something which will make you, because you have to return the queries in the order itself and not randomly. You sorted the queries, but for your benefit, I want the answer in the original order itself. So I want the answer for 0 first, and then for first next, and then for 2 next. So for sure, I will keep track of some, let's say, map or vector called as indices, which will keep track. Index of 1 will give me a 2, which will say, the query at index 1, its actual location is actually at index 2, right? So as to return the ultimate final answer. Cool. It will just say by this particular index called as map or vector, anything. Now, so far what we have done optimizations, what we have done sorting and stuff, putting the indexes and stuff. Let's see the code of that part first. Then we'll quickly go on to how, okay, for every X I'm bringing out my Y, for every X I'm going on to the query itself, and so on and so forth. Firstly, I had my nums. Now I just showed you I have this V vector which will keep track of nums1, which will keep track of nums1 and nums2. So I have this V vector which will have a pair of int comma int, which will say, okay, nums1 and nums2. So I just pushed in my all the nums1 and nums2 as a pair because I want to club them, and I just pushed in as a nums1 and nums2 in my vector itself. As I showed you also, I have to sort this vector. As I showed you, I just sorted this vector down because I want in the, I will go from the last itself because I'm concerned about the maximum value, maximum X. Why? Because you saw earlier, I'm concerned about the all such, where's the question mark? Yeah, all such nums1 of j which is more than my query of X. It is also maximum, so I'm also starting from the maximum such nums of 1, right? Cool. Let's quickly go to the code again. Now, I just said for queries, I will also sort the queries down. But as I'm about to sort the queries down, I also please keep the track of what was the original index of every query. So it is just saying the original index of every query. Now, as the queries are about to get sorted, which means I will just say, okay, these are the sorted indices, which means it will just say, okay, the query first is nothing but the one which is right here. Next query is nothing but this. Next query is nothing but this. So basically, I am sorting these indexes. Earlier it was 0, 1 and 2. Normal originally. Now I sorted these indexes as 0 to 1. Just saying, okay, 0 to 1 are actually the sorted indexes of queries. Saying my first query is 0, my next query to operate on is the query 2, my next query to operate on is the query 1. Thus, I know I need to operate on these queries order. Earlier, I have just marked indexes as 0, 1, 2. I sorted this 0, 1, 2 as 0 to 1 on the basis of what? On the basis of my query ka X. Query ka X. For sure, because I also sorted my V on the basis of nums of 1, which is nothing but representing my X. Cool. So I have this indices, which is nothing but 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. I just sorted my this indices on the basis of what? My query ka X. My query ka X. It is nothing but my first query and my next query. You can say Q1 also and Q2 also. So it is nothing but Q1 of 0 and Q2 of 0, right? Now it is sorted. My index is sorted on the basis of queries ka X only. Please don't get confused by this Y. It is nothing but my two queries, Q1 and Q2, right? Cool. Now I know, okay, my queries are sorted, my Q1 and Q2. With this, my queries are sorted, which means my index is now sorted. It will just say, okay, it is 0, 2, 1, 3, like this. My index earlier it was 0, 1, 2. Now my index is nothing but 0 to 1, saying that the queries are, now the new index of the queries are 0 to 1. You have to operate on this order. Firstly at the index 0, next at the index 2, next at the index 1, and so on and so forth. Cool. Now, we saw all these stuffs, and then the actual part starts in picture. Cool. Let's forget that. You saw what all basic stuff you did so far. Now, as we just go on and see the first query, because you saw earlier that you have this first query, and you know now you have to operate on the queries in the descending order. You will operate on the first query having the maximum X, not X. Cool. But meanwhile the folks are watching and liking in. Can we please, I know many folks have dropped because the problem is hard. That's okay, cool, no worries, but the folks who are still watching, can we reach to 60 likes? Just one more, that would be great. Now I will just say, okay, I will just start with the maximum. I will start with the maximum X of that particular query. So for sure, I will need to operate with the maximum Y itself, which means the maximum X. of this sorted. So I will start from the end itself. Now what I will do is, I have the first query having the x as 4. Y not concerned yet, but yeah, x is 4. Now let's take only x initially. Now I know that I need to go on my nums1, which is nothing but the v array which I made. I made a v array, right? I made this v array. Okay, I just erased that part. Yeah, I just made this v array, right? I will just iterate on this. Sorry, it is the v array. Yeah, I will just iterate on this v array from the last itself, because for sure the last one will have the maximum x, and I want all such x's which have more than my query ka x. So I will just go on from this last query, which is 4, 2. So for this query, which is 4, 1, in my v, I have the option as 4, 2. And for sure, this 4 is more than equal to my query ka 4. So I can grab this particular 4. Cool. Now my 4 is grabbed. X is sorted. But how about the y? I also need to make sure that ultimately, I also need to make sure that, okay, I am just grabbing this particular y, and ultimately I will go and look, okay, that particular y, if it is more than equal to my 1 or not, but that is for later part. Right now I'm concerned about, for this particular y, what is the corresponding x plus y? Because ultimately, remember the fact, you will go on and look for, okay, what if this y should be more than equal to my query ka y. You will look at that. That is for later part. But before that, if you had looked at that, still one thing you have to make sure, right, that x plus y should be maximum. So for that y, for this y, which is the nums ka y, which is the nums ka y, it should be having a some map to actual x plus y. Because it can be a fact that, okay, I have a query as 4, 2, right? Next time, let's say it came at as 4, 6. So I have this particular y, or let's say if it would have been a 3, right? Now initially I would have used this query, which is 4, 2. With this, the y is 2. It is 1. Cool, no worries. But the sum is nothing but 6. Let's say I would have a 3, 9, and it is a 3, which means 9 is still more than 1. But 9 plus 3 is 12, which is more than my 6. So I would have used this 9 itself, not this particular 4, 2. So it's a reason I'm concerned about, okay, this particular y, because it will be used later, and also the x plus y, which is nothing but this 6, because it is used for actual comparison. I know this will become harder and harder as it goes on, but yeah, I am trying to simplify. See, it is not a one-time question. As I showed you, it's a very, 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 very hard question. So please make sure that you actually listen every part, because I'm going on at every query, and will also show you the code parallelly. Right now, you know one thing, I am concerned about y and also plus x plus y. Why? Because I'm looking for y. I will later look at y also, and y x plus y, because I'm concerned for x plus y, because I want the maximum x plus y. Now, I need to use some data structure. Here the concept came in. Either we could use a map or a segment tree. Now, it is not intuitive at all to use map or a segment tree, but as we look on, okay, what is the operation we have to do? It will become more easier for us. How? We know one thing. I need a key, I need a value. What is a key? My key is nothing but my y, because I am concerned about, because see, earlier I just started my searching for this query x and this nums x, right? Now I'm saying I'm concerned about this nums y, which will help me when I will search for my query y. Remember, I would be trying to search for my query y in this nums y. If I'm trying to search, so I need some data structure which can actually help me do a search very easily. And when I say a search, for sure, I will try to optimize the search. I will use a binary search. For a binary search, I will need some data structure which is sorted, and that can be a map. We saw we need to search for this query y in the data structure which we will make, and that data structure will contain my nums y, and also my nums y is not the only criteria, because I'm also concerned about my nums of x plus nums of y. And that is how I know, okay, I need to use a map, because I know I have to search for my query y in my data structure. And for search, I mean a binary search, because I can't do a linear search. And when I do a binary search, that data structure should be sorted. It should be having a y and an x plus y also. So it should be having a key value pair. So for sure, that data structure should be having a key value pair. That should be a sorted. That should be a map. That is the reason how we just found out that, okay, we need a map data structure, which means I will have my nums y and my nums of x plus y, which is nothing but the sum. And with that, I will say, I will get the values. Now, let's look back what we had. Now, we had the y as 2, x plus y will be 6. So, now I'm concerned about what? As I showed you above also, that later part, I will be concerned about searching for this query y in my data structure, having my nums of y. So, nums of y I have, which is 2. But I'm also concerned about the nums of x plus nums of y, which is the sum, which is 4 plus 2. So it is nothing but 6. So this 2 is nothing but for searching purposes, and this 6 is nothing but for finding the answer. Cool. I have my 2, I have my 6. I have this map. Initially it is empty for sure. Just push in this. Next time we will see, okay, how this next incoming element will actually modify this map. But right now it is empty. My map was empty. No element came in picture. So please just push in this 2 and 6. 2 is saying nums of y and 6 is saying nums of x plus nums of y. Cool. Now I had this query. My 4 was done. Because of this 4 itself, this element got pushed in my map, because I just make sure my 4 was done. Now I'm concerned about my 1. I need to search if any number more than or equal to 1 is present in my map or not. If yes, then what is the value? I will just go and search for 1 or higher number. 1, because I want my nums of y should be more than equal to my query of y. So I will go and search for some higher number. I will go and search for some higher number more than my 1. And I will see, okay, I have a 2. And for sure that sum is nothing but x is 6. So I got a number more than my 1. I got a 2. And also the number, the sum I'm actually concerned about, it's actually 6. So for sure, return the 6. And that's how for this query, by just using your maps and stuff in log n operation, you just found out. And Aryan, how log n operation? Because I am linearly, for this particular query, I only went on to one particular v of I. I also could have gone to the next v of I, but you could see it is 3, which is actually less than my query of I. So for this first query, I can only go at the one element, which is 4. I cannot go above because it is incoming as 3, which is less than my 4. I cannot go. Next time, okay, this query, first query is done. First query is done. I get the answer as 6. Now, coming to the next query. Next query for us, as we had sorted the query, I will just get to know the next query I have to work on is the query 2 by using my IND, because I was using this IND index map. So by this, I know the next query to work on is the 2. For 2 query, the x is nothing but a 2, which means my j will actually move back. So you saw what happened. It is kind of a 2-point approach. My I is moving 1 step down, 1 step down, 1 step down. My j is moving 1 step up, 1 step up, 1 step up. So basically my I is moving, my j is moving. They are not shuffling. So it is nothing but it is q plus n, not q into n, because I is also moving and j is also moving. So it is q plus n, right? Cool. I will move my I. Now my I is nothing but at this location. So my query I have to work on will be 2,5. And you will also see one thing. My j is at 3,4. For sure my 3,4 will come in. Why? Because 3, it is more than my 2. So it can come in. My 2, it is more than equal to my 2. It can come in. My 1, it cannot come in. So basically for this particular sorted V, my J, my 4,2 was already in my map. If you remember, the impact of 4,2 is already in the map itself. So it's the reason we had to sort it in the decreasing order, because the impact is already there. I don't need to count it again. So I will just keep on going, and next time I will just keep on going at these two and will use the impact in the map. I will show what is the impact on the map itself. But yeah, these two, which means, okay, initially the J is here, so it will be used as a nums. And next time my J will again decrease for this particular I itself, and will again use this particular query. Cool. Now let's quickly jump on to the query, which is 2,5, and then use this firstly use this particular nums, and then we will use this particular nums, and then we will see, okay, after using these two and it is already done, what is the impact after using these two? It's already done. What is the impact finally at query 2,5? Now my query was 2,5. I know I have to use these two as the impacts. Cool. For sure, because their x nums of x, it is more than or equal to query of x. Okay, cool. Now I know what I have to add an impact on, and for sure its impact is already in the map itself. Now as I land onto this particular query, which is this particular nums, which is 3,4, I know I was concerned about what x is done, and now I'm concerned about my y. I will just grab out. I grabbed out my y, but you still remember, it is not the y I'm only concerned about. I'm also concerned about x plus y also. So y4, which is nothing but this particular 4, and also my 4 plus 3, which is this particular 7. I now got my 4 plus 7 as a pair. Now I need to update my map. Let's quickly go and see how will you update your map now. That is how the tricky part will come in. You got the another y comma x plus y pair of nums. Now earlier, you know, existingly your map had a 2,6 because of the last query. If you remember the last query, your map got updated to 2,6. So your map had 2,6. Now the 4,7 came in picture. You will try to firstly see, hey, just a second. Is there any value which has more? Let's say I say, okay, I have another 4,9. So if I had another 4,9, so please 4,7 is never required. Why? Because my 7, it is the sum. I want the maximum sum. If I already have a bigger sum, which is 9, why to use this? Please don't use this. Return back. Don't use this. If I had some other number, let's say 5,9, shall I do it? Shall I not? We will see this part. But yeah, for sure, one thing I know, if I have 4,9, I don't want to push it. That is what you will see in the code itself. Now I am showing the parallel code also, because it will get harder as you will use and you will look at the code later on. So it's the reason I'm showing you the code starting itself. Now it just says, if you had another value, if you just grab, okay, you will just try to search for this value 4,7. You will just try to search for this 4 in the existing map, and let's say I have the 4,9, I have the 4,9, 5,10 or something like that. Let's say I have this. I know for one thing, if I just try to search in, it will just land me here, and it will just say, okay, if it is not the end, which means the element is actually present, and for sure the element which is present above me, it has a more sum than me. If it has a more sum than me, 9 is more than my 7. So for sure I will not impact anything. Please, I will not push myself. So you will see, if that which is existingly, which was present at top, it just gets the lower bound of 4. It will just point to just higher element more than or equal to 4. It will just point it here, and it will just say, okay, if it is more, which means I will just simply say, I can just point here. If this particular x plus y, it is more than my x plus y, which was this, simply go and simply return. Don't modify your map at all. Cool. This is the part when you know, okay, you have a better x plus y already in the map. Please don't touch that x plus y. But for a corresponding y, which means if it would have been a case, I have a 3 comma 10. Still, I am searching for 4 or higher value. So I will binary search for 4 or higher value. So it could be 8 comma 9 or 8 comma 4. It will point to this particular location. So it should be more than 4. If it is more than 4, and also it's this particular sum, if it is more than my particular sum which I have, then I will not push it. But here you will see it is less, so I will just push it. Cool. Now you know one thing, that you will just go and search for this particular 4. I will just try to search. I could not find it. Just bring, when I say I try to search, I just mean a lower bound, which means 4 or more than bigger value than 4. I could not find. It will just land me to this top, which means end of this particular map. I am at the end of this particular map. I could not find a bigger value than 4. So for sure, I could not find a bigger value than 4. Just push in that value. I could not find the bigger value than 4. Just push in that value, which is 4,7. But if it would have been a bigger value, let's say 5,5, 4 bigger value, 5 is present, but you will see that a 5, which is a smaller value than this particular 7, it is not. So what I will do is, I will simply say, okay, I will just go and find what is the lower bound. What is the lower bound of my particular, that particular element? It will just point me to my this particular 5,5. I'm just imagining, just showing you to imagine that, let's say your 5,5 would have been present. So for sure, I will not touch it. I will not remove it, because 5 is a higher value than 4. Maybe next time some other number came in which is 5. So why should I remove my 5 because of my 4? I will not remove it. Either, still, if it is having my x plus y as small, but still 5 is a bigger value. 5 is a bigger y. X plus y is the next matter, but y itself is a first matter itself. So if it is a bigger value, I will not touch it at all. Now, you saw that you had your 4 coming in. Okay, cool. But as your 4 is coming in the picture, you will see that, okay, my next smaller element, which was already at the top of my map, it had, for sure, as my 4 is being placed, so which means every other number placed below it has a smaller y. That is for sure. If it has a smaller y, and this particular number, which means x plus y, if it is also smaller, so it is not required at all. Why it would be required? Just tell me. If the y is smaller, x plus y is also smaller, so why I will ever use this 2,6? I will never use this 2,6. Rather, I will use this 4,7 itself. So if I have a number below me, mark my words, if I have a number below me, for sure, that number will have a smaller y, because I place my y itself, I place my number itself by using a lower bound itself. So I am placing my number at a location just more than equal to my number 4. So I place a 4 at the location. Any number below it having a smaller x plus y, that will never be used in future. So please remove that number at all from this particular map, because that will never be used. That is just bekar for you. So as your 4,7 was coming in, you just said, okay, asked 2,6 for sure, lower value. Just go and check for this particular number 6. If it is more than my number, which is 7, then for sure, please don't remove it. But if it is less, it is also less. So for sure, this entirely is a less. But I will say, what if next time 3,3, like I will ask for a query having y as 3. No worries. It will just point to 4, because 4 is more than my 3. My 4 is more than my 2. So every time, even if I'm querying for 1, 2 or 3 or 4, it will always point to my this 4 of nums of y. Thus, I say nums of y as 2 was not required. So please remove it. And that's how you will see in the code. This part you saw as I showed you above. Now, I will just point my t to my same particular value. I will just try to place in, okay, if it is at this particular location, so I will just try to place in, okay, what is the location. What is the required location of my particular incoming character, which is incoming 4,7. What is the required location? It will just say it is the first location. So I just say, okay, it is not the zeroth location, right? So I will just try to see and try to look if I can remove any of the lower elements or not. I'll just reduce my t, which is the iterator itself. I'll go and look if this existingly, if it is less than my upcoming, which I'm having. Upcoming is nothing but this values, which is the sum, which is the x plus y. It is nothing but y. So if I have the existing one, which is 6, it is less than equal to my y, which is the x plus y. If it is less, oh God, please, just erase it. Just erase it. And for sure, if it is the only element, just please erase it and also break it down, because else you will just have a null pointer exception. So basically, if it is the smaller value, just please make sure to erase that value. Cool. I just erase that value, and now I don't have this 2,6. I only have my 4,7. Cool. By this code, you saw what happened. I just erased my any smaller value, which means for sure I look for every down values. All down values will have y less than my particular existing y. And also I will just go on and look for, okay, for every of such down values, if this sum, where's the sum gone? If this value, which is nothing but x plus y, if it is more than, if this number 7, it is more than my existing number, which is 3.2. If it is, then please remove this number. And I just keep on removing it until I go on. Now, if that is removed, ultimately all the numbers at the bottom are removed. Just now insert your number. Cool. I just now inserted my number. That is how you saw. As the number was coming in, it just tried to remove all the like kooda kabada from the bottom itself, so that the numbers remain fresh. And I will just always get the maximum. Always get the maximum sum of x plus y. I'm just removing all the kooda kabada from the bottom itself, so that all the maximum sum should remain in the last. Now, as you saw, for the query, you also had for the query 2,5, you just got a 3,4. But then you also saw you also had to go on at 2,5. So as you go on to 2,5, now again it can come in, because 2 is less than equal to 2. Sorry, your 2 is more than equal to 2. Your 2 is more than equal to the 2 of query. So for sure it can come in. So for sure, now I'm concerned about my y of x plus y. Y and x plus y. 5 and 7, which means y and x plus y. It can come in. Now, as it is coming in, existingly in my map, I have a 4,7. 5,7 will try to come in. It will again try to see and look down. Hey, you are 4. You have a value as a 7, and I also have a value more than equal to you. So why you are required? Go away. So this 4,7 will also go away, as this 5,7 came in picture. So now this 4,7 will go away, and this 5,7 will remain in the picture. Now your main task was, your x is done. Now you will go and query in this map. Okay, if there in this q of y is nothing but 5. If there is any value in this map which is more than equal to my 5, I will just go and query. If there is any value which is more than equal to my 5, if it is, hey, what is, I found a value which was having, and when I say I am going to do a search, I just simply mean a binary search, which means a simple lower bound. I'll quickly go and say, okay, is there any value, which means a simply lower bound, any value which is more than equal to me? 5. Yeah, it is present. Okay, if it is present, what is the sum? Hey, the sum is nothing but 7. So for my query of 2,5, which was, you remember your query 2,5 was actually the second query, but in iteration it was used as a first query, which means 0 and 1 query. So it is the reason the answer for this query 2 was actually a 7. You saw here it is 7. Cool. Now you saw the update function, which means updating the map. Now let's quickly look at the function of query, which is nothing but querying the map itself. So what I will do is simply I will quickly go and do a lower bound of my key. When I say key, I mean the key as nothing but query. I mean the key as nothing but this particular query. My key is this query. I am doing a search for this key, which is query of y in my map, which is named as values. Values is my map. It is my map. Cool. I will just go and search as a lower bound, and if it is not present, if the value of y is more, if I have no such y's in my map, sorry, return a -1. But if it is present, just simply go and return that particular part, which is this part, which is nothing but t dot. If it is t pointing to t, it is nothing but t second. It will just point to this particular t second, and you can simply return the sum by just simply doing a query. Now, if you just quickly, although, let's quickly jump on to the last query also, because as the query you saw, you have again one more query remaining. X is here, your j was done up till here. Again, your next query, now your next nums can come in picture. For sure the folks are still watching in, although I know that it's a very hard question, but yeah, that would be great if the folks can please reach like 280. That would be great. Super cool. If my j was already here, now my j will actually go back and will point to my first, because here my nums of I, it is more than equal to my query of x. 1, 9, if it is, for sure my 1 is more than my 1 of query, my 1 of nums, it is more than equal to my query of 1, because 1 is more than equal to 1. So for sure it can come in picture. As it came in picture, I will just see, okay, 9 and 9 is the y, which means nums of y, and x plus y is nothing but 10, which is 9 plus 1, 10. It will again try to go into this map. For sure, I have a 9 coming in. I will just go and try to remove all the lower values having lesser x plus y's. Okay, it has a 7, which is a lesser x plus y. So I will just simply remove this particular x plus y, this particular pair, and I will only have this 9, 10. As I will just query for this number 3, I will just go and query for this number 3 in my map. I will go and find, okay, any number which is more than equal to my 3. Yeah, I have found. Yeah, it is 9. 9. Okay, what is the value? Okay, it is 10. So I will return for this particular query, the answer is 10. And that is how you can simply see that while, okay, where is that gone? Yeah, as you go on to every such queries, you start from your query from I equal to 0. As you saw, you sorted your query in the descending order, and then see in the descending order, and then you are starting your queries from I equal to 0, and your j is nothing but moving from the end. You saw, right? It was moving from the end. It was moving from the end itself. J, then j, then j. So your j was initialized to n-1. Cool. Your I is the queries. It will go from I equal to 0 to I is less than m, I plus plus, and also j is initialized to n-1. When that is done, you will also parallelly see that, okay, you will go on and move your j such that your v of j, which means v of that x, v of x, if it is more than my queries of x, you will just keep on going in your v. As you saw above also, if your j is pointing here, your v of x, v, when I say v is nothing but my j, your x, v of x is 3. If it is more than my query of x, okay, keep on going above. My v of x, it is 2. It is more than my query of x. Keep on going above. Here it is 1. It is not more than my x. Stop. So basically it is nothing but saying my v of just getting my x, v of x, if it is more than equal to my query of x, you can just keep on reducing your j, which means you can keep on going above. And when I say you keep on going above, you just in your map you have to update what? Y and x plus y. Because you have to update your map with y and x plus y, and that how your map, which is values map, it get updated by y and x plus y. And ultimately, when your entire all these such rows, which means all the impacted rows of that particular x is done, then you can simply do a simple query and say, okay, for your query of y, what is the actual value you can get for this particular query, because you know the query, if the index you are going out at every query, and you remember that you sorted the queries. So to get back the actual index, I will just do a index of I, because that index of I is actually storing the actual index of that particular query. So I did the index of I to get the actual index, which is, let's say, 2 for my first query. Then I will just update my actual final result, which is R, and I will simply return the query itself. That's how you can simply solve it. The complexity of this problem is nothing but, here you will see, you will sort the n numbers, which is n log n. Then here you are just sorting your query, which is q log q. Here you are linearly, like 2 pointer approaches, you are like q, you are going n, you are going above, which means q you are going one down, j you are moving one up, which means n plus q you are going down and up. So it is n plus q, and for sure at every query I am actually doing a log n to update the map itself, and that updating map will take a log n time, and ultimately my complexity is nothing but O of n log n, q log n plus q log q, and space is O of n because of the map which we have used. That is the question number 4. That is the entire question number 4. Pen down. If the folks are still watching in, I don't know how come you have got such spirits to learn such hard questions, but if you are still watching in, then can we please reach like to 80? That would be great. That was legit a hard question I've seen lately. Like in the last 2-3 months, it is one of the hardest question I've seen in the contest. Whew. That was legit. But yeah, if those 16 folks, whosoever is still there, please write anything down. I just want to know your names, that how goddamn you are so curious to learn this hard question. Like still, I just want to know the names of people still joining in. Pudishmarth, Arjun, big clap. Like I should be giving clap to you guys, that to understand this question itself, because it was more than half an hour or so. You still joined in. Many people would have just slept. It was such a hard question. But yeah, if that was the case, that was great. Anurag was here. Arjun was here. Great. Okay, sorry, I just shifted that, how to tilt that back. Yep. Really great that for you guys. You just, if the folks are still watching it, I see that many folks have just slept while listening the 4th question, but cool. No worries. If the folks are still watching in, can we reach the likes to 80? Just 2 more, that would be great. We will be ending the stream in very soon. For 4th question, bhai tum kitne baje uthte ho? It's around 5 a.m. IST. But yeah, we have to, like, it usually goes thoda late if I just sleep late. Let's say if I have a stream yesterday, so I was not able to sleep that much, so I have to wake up around at 6, so that thoda late ho gaya. But usually thoda I just try to manage, thoda ho jaye idhar udhar. But yeah, if the folks are still watching in, we saw all 4 questions. Specifically for 4th question, it is very hard to tell the intuition, but still I went on from very scratch how you think of sorting, how you think of applying the sorting in nums, in queries, then using the map, why to use the map, how to use the map, how to do a binary search in the map, how to think of doing a binary search in the map, why you want to do that search. All that stuff we saw in complete detail for question number 4. Question 3 was also a bit tricky. Question 2, morning routine please. There is nothing. और solve कितने बजे हो और सोते कितने बजे हो. It just depends. मतलब मैं ऐसे ही, मतलब meanwhile, if the folks are still watching in, can we please reach like to 80? That would be great. Just 2 more likes. सोते यार, मतलब see, रात को सोना हो नहीं पाता है ना, because if I go out, then सोने का टाइम नहीं मिलता. तो I just try कि I take a nap in between of the day. थोड़ा उसमें मिल जाता है बस. मॉर्निंग रूटीन तो भाई कुछ नहीं है, बस आप लोगों का प्यार है तो इसलिए उठने का मन कर जाता है बस, वरना तो भाई मेरे बस की उठना है ही नहीं, लिजिट उठना नहीं है. बट ठीक है, हो जाता है. कूल. द बेस्ट पार्ट इज जादूगर, लाइक रितीश, जादूगर, अर्जुन, Abhishek, Ashish, you guys are still there. at this particular question. That is actually a great part यार, मतलब सही में यार तुम तो लाइक एकदम बिल्कुल जबरदस्त हो. In Java use tree map instead of hash map. Yeah, correct. You can use anything. See, it's a language problem, not logic problem. So we can use anything whatsoever is beneficial for us. Cool. Any other doubts, any other things? We can quickly end up the stream in a minute or so. Let me quickly have Aryan, you are in Bangalore or hometown? Right now I'm in Bangalore. It's a Bangalore background. But the vlog was actually थोड़ा recent वाला, which actually showed कि मतलब I just edited that vlog. So the vlog's just coming in and that part is just coming in the picture. So yeah, let's quickly end up the stream. Any other questions, any doubts, feel free to ping in the chats, ping in the comments. I'll try to reply it. I try my best, but time नहीं मिलता यार सच में. मतलब I try my level best to actually heart it down. अच्छा लगता है हार्ड करना. भैया मीटअप होगा यार. दिक्कत ये है कि मैं मीटअप रख भी लूंगा ना, मुझे पता है भाई कोई नहीं आएगा मुझे छोड़ के, बट या आई विल फॉर श्योर ट्राई टू हैव अ मीटअप. अच्छा लगता है अपनी बेइज्जती करवाने. cool. इफ द फोक्स आर स्टिल वाचिंग इन, पता नहीं यार तुम लोग कैसे सह पाते हो यार इतना हार्ड क्वेश्चंस, बट इफ यस देन लेट्स रीच द लाइक टू 85. इफ मर्जी, वैसे 80 पहुंच चुका है. आई एम वेरी हैप्पी. कूल, लेट्स एंड द स्ट्रीम. गुड बाय, टेक केयर. भैया, आई एम इन थर्ड ईयर एंड माय प्लेसमेंट्स आर स्टार्टिंग इन 2 months. आई हैव कंप्लीट डीएसए और आई हैव कंप्लीट माय डीएसए एक्सेप्ट द ट्रीज, बट रिवीजन इफेक्टिवली नहीं हो पाता. यार देख, रिवीजन ऐसे तो हो पाता भी नहीं है. वैसे रिवीजन करना है, सिंपल है. सॉल्व प्रॉब्लम्स. इफ यू आर नॉट डन ट्रीज, पहले ट्रीज कर लो. Parallelly keep on revising your concept and also solve new problems, because new problems will give you the idea how to use the existing concept. And तुम पुराने concept भूल ना जाओ, तो please keep on revising the पुराने concept, पुराने trees के logic, पुराने trees, because it's very easy. I will ask you recursion, trees के अंदर recursion वाला part, या फिर linked list में how to reverse in the form of a reverse that in the recursive way or the iterative way. So ये part ना तुम्हें पढ़ते रहने पड़ते हैं. हाउ टू गेट द पोस्ट ऑर्डर, प्री ऑर्डर, ये पार्ट ना थोड़े से ऐसे होते हैं कि शुड बी क्लिक, ऐसे आना चाहिए. तो फॉर दैट इट्स बेस्ट कि हम लोग रिवाइज करते हैं नोट्स अपने. कॉन्टेस्ट दिए, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करी, ट्रीज नहीं आता, गो एंड लुक फॉर. ओके, जैसे अपनी डीएसए 169 सीरीज है, उसमें लेट्स से आपको ट्रीज नहीं आता, ट्रीज उठाया, उसमें से क्वेश्चन करे, सॉल्व सारे ट्रीज के, हो गया ट्री पक्का. बस सिंपली मेक श्योर कि हाँ एक बार पढ़ लिया, उसके बाद रिवीजन कर रहे हैं हम उस चीज का. शीट उठाई, ट्रीज देखा, ट्रीज का पोर्शन क्या है अपना, पोर्शन उठाया ट्रीज का, सॉल्व किया ट्रीज एंड सिंपली डन. दैट इज हाउ वी कैन सिंपली गेट बेटर एट एवरी. मैंने देखा ये लोग क्या करते हैं कि ठीक है, मतलब किसी की लिंक लिस्ट, किसी की प्लेलिस्ट देख ली, गुड, फिर लाइक रिवाइजिंग दैट प्लेलिस्ट. रिवाइजिंग प्लेलिस्ट मे बी अ गुड, बट कंसिडरिंग कि वो क्वेश्चंस अच्छे हों. क्वेश्चंस नहीं अच्छे, प्लेलिस्ट रिवाइज कर ली, लॉजिक सीख लिया. अब एक्चुअली में लेट्स लुक एट द गुड क्वेश्चंस. फॉर दैट शीट काम आएगी. सिंपली राइट ऑन यूट्यूब डीएसए 169 सीरीज या फिर आर्यन डीएसए 169. द शीट विल कम इन. जस्ट ग्रैब दैट ट्रीज का पोर्शन एंड डू द ट्रीज. ज्यादा क्वेश्चन नहीं है, मैंने कहा ना, हर क्वेश्चन, हर कंसेप्ट के मैक्सिमम 5 से 15 क्वेश्चन है, मैक्सिमम 5 से 15. बस वो 15 क्वेश्चन कर लो. सिंपली तुम्हें ट्रीज का लग जाएगा. ठीक है, हार्ड क्वेश्चन ये हो सकता है, इजी क्वेश्चन हो सकता है, ये तो अपना ट्री हो गया. अब तुम्हें ट्री प्रैक्टिस करते रहो. वैसे प्रैक्टिस, तुम्हें लगता है कि अगर ट्री अभी सॉल्व नहीं हुआ है, सिंपली गो आंसर. ओके, ट्रीज का लगा दिया फिल्टर, ट्रीज क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं, ट्रीज सॉल्व कर रहे हो सॉल्व. वरना नहीं तो सिंपली रैंडम क्वेश्चन सॉल्व, रैंडम वर्चुअल कॉन्टेस्ट तुम दे रहे हो एंड गिविंग द आंसर्स. आगे का प्लान है चैनल के लिए. लव वीकली कॉन्टेस्ट स्ट्रीम्स, वेरी हेल्पफुल. यार चैनल का प्लान तो बट ऑफ क्वेश्चन है ये. आई ट्राई टू ग्रो इट, बट दिक्कत ये है कि यार काम बहुत होता है, ऑफिस का टाइम नहीं मिलता मुझे. मतलब आई हैव सीन कि बहुत अलग लोग हैं, अलग अलग कंपनी में, अलग अलग यूट्यूबर्स, वो वीडियो पोस्ट कर पाते हैं, वीडियो बना पाते हैं. आई ट्राइड इट, बट कंटेंट सर्च करने में, वीडियो बनाने में टाइम लगता है एंड दैट टाइम दे नहीं पाता. ये काम होता है बिकॉज पता है तुम्हें पता है कल भी आई वॉज डूइंग ऑफिस वर्क, लकीली कुछ काम था, कुछ फट गया था, तो वही है कि लाइक दैट इज पार्ट, थोड़ा काम करना पड़ता है बट ठीक है, मतलब आई एम ट्राइंग टू गिव मोर टाइम, पर वो टाइम दिया नहीं जाता। हाँ कूल, नो वरीज। इज डीएसए प्लस फ्रंट एंड डेव इनफ फॉर प्लेसमेंट्स? व्हेन यू से डीएसए इट शुड बी कि तुम डीएसए में कितने अच्छे हो, बिकॉज अगर डीएसए में काफी अच्छे हो तो फ्रंट एंड चलेगा, बट अगर डीएसए में अच्छे इतने नहीं हो तो आई विल रिकमेंड कि फ्रंट एंड प्लस बैक एंड दोनों कर लेना, वरना तो मुश्किल होगी। बिकॉज सी एक चीज सब कोई करता है, या तो तुम बहुत अच्छे हो फ्रंट एंड के अंदर एंड वो मुश्किल है होना, तो इट्स गुड कि ठीक है फ्रंट एंड बैक एंड दोनों कर लिए, बिकॉज डीएसए में देयर इज अ हाई चांस कि हम नॉर्मल होंगे, ज्यादा अच्छे नहीं होंगे। अगर अच्छे हो तो बढ़िया है भाई, फिर तो टेंशन की बात ही नहीं है। मुझे सेकंड माइनस सर्च अप्रोच, व्हाट शुड आई डू, हाउ टू लुक एट द प्रॉब्लम? सी अगर तुम बाइनरी सर्च अप्रोच पे स्टक करते हो, just go and write on YouTube binary search by Aryan Mittal या binary search problems by Aryan Mittal, you will get a playlist। उस playlist में बहुत सारी problems हैं, जहां पे लाइक मैंने से बहुत सारी, नॉट बहुत सारी, it is at max 12 से 15 प्रॉब्लम उस प्लेलिस्ट के अंदर। उसमें हर वीडियो में फ्रॉम स्क्रैच आई हैव शोड कि हाउ टू थिंक दैट इट्स अ बाइनरी सर्च प्रॉब्लम। सो इफ यू आर स्टक, go and open that playlist, start from that playlist from scratch, look at the problem by yourself, try to think how that can be applied, and then look at the video. Still look at the video, so that I will tell you how to think by thinking of the constraints, thinking of the logic, thinking of the problem, going from scratch from the description, how you think that it's a biased problem. So if you are stuck at any part, let's say binary search, DP, graphs, just go and write on Google, sorry on YouTube, binary search problems by Aryan Mittal. You will get a playlist, just start from that playlist and वो playlist 2-3 घंटे में हो जाएगी आराम से, या फिर नहीं तो 5-6 घंटे में आराम से हो जाएगी, एक दिन में आराम से हो जाएगी। जस्ट उससे हमारा बाइनरी सर्च ना एकदम स्ट्रॉन्ग हो जाएगा, एकदम स्ट्रॉन्ग, एकदम स्ट्रॉन्ग, आई स्वेयर एकदम स्ट्रॉन्ग। Just follow that part and that would be great. आपका वर्क इनपुट अभी सबसे ज्यादा ही होगा, प्लस कंटेंट क्वालिटी भी अच्छी है। आपका वर्क इनपुट, डोंट वरी। या श्लोक, दैट इज ट्रू ट्रू ट्रू। कूल। ओके, व्हाट वाज दैट? सर वेब डी के प्रोजेक्ट्स कैसे बना सकते हैं एक मंथ में? एग्जिस्टिंग है छाप लो और कोई फंक्शनलिटी चेंज कर दो, दैट इज द ओनली वे टू गेट अ प्रोजेक्ट इन वेब डी। बहुत प्रोजेक्ट है भाई, बहुत 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 प्रोजेक्ट है वेब डी में। सिंपली है, प्रोजेक्ट उठाओ, छापो प्रोजेक्ट, सिंपली एक तो उसका नाम चेंज कर दो इंटायरली। तुमने क्लोन बनाया है, क्लोन तो नाम रखना ही मत गलती से भी। Amazon क्लोन है, नाम मत रखो, सिंपली गेट एनी अदर नेम, XYZ, मेरे गांव का क्लोन, मेरे गांव का ऐप, मेरे घर का ऐप, मेरे पापा का ऐप, ऐसा करके नाम रखा तुमने अपने यूज के हिसाब से। फंक्शनैलिटी ऐड कर दी, एक छोटी सी फंक्शनैलिटी, तुमने कह दिया कि अब मेरे पापा अपने मम्मी से बिना इंटरनेट के बात कर सकते हैं, बिजनेस कर सकते हैं। कुछ भी ऐड अ स्मॉल फंक्शनैलिटी इन द एग्जिस्टिंग कोड एंड दैट विल ब्रिंग आउट अ न्यू प्रोजेक्ट। एंड तुम बेचो उसको ऐसे ही, भैया देखो मैं बेच रहा हूं उस अपने ऐप को एकदम बड़ा, एकदम बिल्कुल बड़ा चढ़ा के। तुमने देखा रैपिडो है, ओला है, उबर है, सब सेम है, स्टिल सबने अपने आप को एडवर्टाइज किया कुछ अलग दिखा के। रैपिडो ने कहा, रैपिडो का ऐड देखोगे ना तो इट विल जस्ट फोकस ऑन बाइक। रैपिडोज मेन यूएसपी इज बाइक, इट इज अ ट्रांसपोर्ट वाला, बट इट इज मेन यूएसपी इज बाइक एंड ऑटो। वाइल ऑटो उबर भी देता है और ओला भी देता है, बट स्टिल रैपिडो ने कुछ अलग दिखाया। मैंने ऑटो का तुम्हें फीचर दिया, बट मेरा यूएसपी इज बाइक, ऐसा कुछ खास नहीं होगा उससे, बट स्टिल तुम एक कुछ भी एक्सिस्टिंग उठाओ प्रोजेक्ट, उसमें कोई एक नया फीचर ऐड कर दो, एक कुछ भी नया फीचर तुमने ऐड कर दिया, बहुत छोटा सा हो तब भी चलेगा, बस तुम दिखा रहे हो उसको ऐसे कि तुमने क्या ही ऐड कर दिया है। नाम रखो अलग, उसको दिखाओ तुमने कुछ अलग किया है जबकि तुमने सेम काम किया है। यही होता है भाई। सी लोग कहते हैं कि यार मेरा होता क्यों नहीं इंटरव्यू में? सी इंटरव्यू होता है इंटरव्यूअर को पागल बनाना। तुम इंटरव्यूअर को पागल बना रहे हो, एंड पागल बनाना आसान काम नहीं है, तुम्हें उसके लिए आदत होनी चाहिए पागल बनाने की। तो जस्ट गेट अ प्रोजेक्ट, जस्ट कॉपी इट, अंडरस्टैंड इट। मैंने ऐसे कॉपी इट, अंडरस्टैंड इट। मैं उनमें से नहीं हूं कि मैं बोलूंगा कि नहीं यार तुम्हें कॉपी नहीं करना, अपना आप बनाओ, इट्स ऑल बुलशिट। तुम्हें सिर्फ काम से मतलब है, काम से। अगर तुम्हें एक्चुअली इंटरेस्ट है डेव में तो यू शुड मेक इट। आई एम नॉट डिस्करेजिंग यू, बट अगर तुम्हें इंटरेस्ट नहीं है एंड तुम्हें बनाना है, फिर भी उठाओ यूट्यूब से, गूगल से, गेटअप से, जस्ट कॉपी इट डाउन, अंडरस्टैंड इट। बिकॉज एज एन इंटरव्यूअर मैं तुमसे पूछ लूंगा बीच में उठा के, इसको तुमने कैसे किया इंप्लीमेंट, तुम बता नहीं पाए ना भाई, इतना बुरा इंप्रेशन पड़ेगा ना, तुम सोच नहीं पाओगे। तो सिंपली उठाओ, कॉपी करो भाई, बिना मैं कोई चीज शुगर कोट नहीं कर रहा, सीधा कॉपी मारो, उसको एक बार वॉक थ्रू करके समझ लो कि हर चीज काम कैसे कर रही है। छोटा सा कुछ इंप्लीमेंट, छोटा सा उसमें कुछ ट्वीक कर दो, नाम तो चेंज कर ही दो, हर चीज को अलग फॉर्म में बताओ ताकि लगे कि वो नया है एंड वो नया नहीं है। एंड स्टिल बाय दैट यू कैन जस्ट गेट द आंसर। अभिषेक सिंह, गुड क्वेश्चन, cool, that I've answered. Ritesh Bhardwaj, but you are really good in explaining. I would love to watch the channel grow. I also want to love it grow, but होता नहीं है यार, मैं क्या करूं। I have 85th like. हो क्या बात है, थैंक यू ब्रो। भैया पढ़ाई के बातें तो होगी, ये बताओ हमारी भाभी कैसी है। भाभी है, मुझे पहले ये बताओ भाभी है, होगी तो मुझे बता दो यार। भाभी तो नहीं है यार, अब कैसी है तो मेरे सपनों में होगी, बिकॉज एक्चुअली में तो नहीं है। अभिषेक सिंह, गुड क्वेश्चन। भैया लीड कोड के वीकली क्वेश्चंस बिल्कुल नहीं होते, क्या करूं। सिंपल है भाई, वर्चुअल दो, हो जाएगा। इट इज फॉर श्योर कि आशीष भाई यू आर अ बिगिनर, इफ नॉट बिगिनर देन फॉर श्योर तुम कुछ तो कर रहे हो। भाई प्रोग्रामिंग आती है प्रैक्टिस करने से, एंड ऑल्सो हर प्रॉब्लम से कुछ नया लर्न करने से। तुम एक ही इजी प्रॉब्लम करते रहो सॉल्व बार बार, कुछ नहीं होगा उससे, कुछ भी नहीं होगा उससे। सिंपली गो एंड सॉल्व अ न्यू प्रॉब्लम सो दैट यू कैन लर्न समथिंग फ्रॉम दैट प्रॉब्लम। व्हेन आई से न्यू आई मीन अ बिट हार्ड प्रॉब्लम। अगर तुम सॉल्व कर सकते हो प्रॉब्लम ए बी सी एंड डी, तो हर बार सॉल्व करते हो प्रॉब्लम ए और बी, तो हर बार मेक श्योर यू आर सॉल्विंग प्रॉब्लम सी एट लीस्ट। एंड इफ यू आर एबल टू सॉल्व सी, ट्राई टू सॉल्व डी ऑल्सो, मे बी बाय वीडियो, मे बी बाय एनीथिंग एल्स, बट या ट्राई टू अपसॉल्व इट, बाय दैट यू विल ग्रो। तो ये काम करना है, बिकॉज भाई अपसॉल्व के बिना काम नहीं होता। लाइक पेपर बोट यूएसपी, करेक्ट। भैया भाई लीड कोड तो सही है, पर सीपी कितनी करनी है। भाई डिपेंडिंग तुम्हारी डीएसए कितना अच्छा है एंड तुम्हारे पास कितना टाइम है। अगर डीएसए अच्छा है काफी, गुड, स्टार्ट विद द सीपी इटसेल्फ। सी सीपी कोई बहुत बड़ा काम नहीं है, यू कैन पैरेलली गिव कॉन्टेस्ट ऑन कोड फोर्सेस। लोग पोस्ट करते हैं कोड फोर्सेस के भी सॉल्यूशंस, माना कि इतने इंट्यूटिव नहीं होते, बट स्टिल इतना इंट्यूशन हर जगह तुम सोचोगे तुम्हें मिल जाएगा, बट नहीं मिलेगा, तो ये ठीक है। सी आज तुम्हारे पास टाइम है, आई अगेन से प्लीज गिव कोड फोर्सेस एंड कोड शेफ कॉन्टेस्ट ऑल्सो, दैट विल एक्चुअली हेल्प यू बिल्ड योर ब्रूट फोर्स वाला एंड ऑल्सो योर एडहॉक क्वेश्चंस का, जहां पे डीएसए नॉट रिक्वायर्ड लगे ना लगे, मे बी बाय सर्च डीपी कुछ नहीं लग रहा, सिंपल एरे से ही सम मॉडिफिकेशन एंड यू नीड टू ब्रिंग द आंसर। सो दैट इज अ कोड फोर्सेस थिंग, कोड शेफ थिंग। सो प्लीज सॉल्व इट इफ यू हैव टाइम। If not, if your placement is round about the corner and तुम्हारी डीएस अच्छी नहीं है, तो भाई कोड फोर्सेस छूना भी मत। तुम छू सकते हो, बट तुम्हें वो सिर्फ करेगा डीमोटिवेट। तुम्हारे अपने रिस्क के ऊपर है, छू लो कोड फोर्सेस, तुम हो जाओगे डीमोटिवेट। अगर तुम्हें चाहिए प्लेसमेंट एंड तुम्हारा मेन टास्क टू गेट गुड एट प्रोग्रामिंग, मतलब बहुत अच्छा, लाइक व्हेन आई से प्रोग्रामिंग आई मीन सीपी इतना अच्छा नहीं है, तो 1-2 महीने जस्ट फोकस ऑन डीएसए। सीपी इसके बाद कर लें जब तुम्हारी प्लेसमेंट लग जाए। सीपी इज अ स्पोर्ट, डीएसए इज अ रिक्वायरमेंट एज अ सिलेबस। तो अंतर है दोनों में, एक करते हैं मजे के लिए, मजे प्लस नॉलेज बढ़ती है वो अलग बात है, बट एक होता है स्पेसिफिकली मजे के लिए एंड एक होता है एक्चुअली प्लेसमेंट्स के लिए। तो दैट इज वन थिंग। ब्रो हेड फर्स्ट जावा बुक कैसी है। भाई पढ़ी नहीं मैंने कभी, फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर में हूं। वैसे आई हैव हर्ड इट्स गुड, बट आई वॉज नॉट अ फॉन्ड ऑफ बुक्स फ्रॉम वेरी बिगिनिंग, तो मैं कुछ कर नहीं सकता। वी नीड अ मोटो व्लॉग, उसके लिए मुझे वैसे आई हैव आई हैव दैट पर्टिकुलर पार्ट जहां पे आई नीड टू गेट अ गोप्रो और समथिंग, तो वो तो अभी इतना पैसा नहीं है यार, सारा पैसा खत्म हो जाता है भाई, मुझे समझ नहीं आता। लाइक आई विल एक्चुअली मेक, मैंने देखा, जितना देखा है ना, स्पेंड मनी इन बैंगलोर, भाई इतना खर्चा होता है बैंगलोर में, तुम मान सकते हैं। अपना व्हीकल है, उसके बाद इतना खर्चा होता है, जस्ट इमेजिन अगर मेरा व्हीकल ना होता कितना खर्चा होता है मेरा, बहुत खर्चा होता है भाई, बैंगलोर में बहुत ज्यादा खर्चा होता है, पैसे ही नहीं है भाई, कंगाली माटा गीला है। आपका रेज्यूमे देखा, यू मेड द फाइल कंप्रेसर यूजिंग एचटीएमएल सीएसएस जावास्क्रिप्ट, वही बना दूं भैया मैं? हाँ भाई बना दे, कोई नहीं देख रहा, बस थोड़ा ट्वीक कर देना, कुछ मॉडिफाई कुछ ऐड कर देना, वरना बना दो, कोई नहीं देख रहा। सर मैं भी अभिषेक सिंह भाई, युवराज, एक मिनट, युवराज, युवराज ब्रो हेड फर्स्ट जावा कैसी है, फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर में हूँ। सी इट्स गुड, बट आई एम नॉट अ गुड पर्सन टू रिकमेंड ऑन बुक्स, बिकॉज मैंने कभी बुक्स पढ़ी नहीं, कभी नहीं पढ़ी मैंने बुक्स, आफ्टर जेई मैंने कभी नहीं पढ़ी, तो दैट इज वन थिंग। प्लेसमेंट, सॉरी अभिषेक सिंह, सर मैं भी एमएनआईटी से हूँ सर, प्लेसमेंट राउंड्स में डीएसए ज्यादा पूछते हैं या प्रोजेक्ट्स, और कितने राउंड्स होते हैं इंटरव्यू में? मोस्टली राउंड्स आर 3 to 4, डिपेंडिंग ऑन कंपनी टू कंपनी। प्लेसमेंट होता है तो राउंड 2 भी हो सकते हैं, बट इट इज मोस्टली इन एवरेज 3, वर्स्ट केस 4, बेस्ट केस 2। तो और मोस्टली इफ द कंपनी इज अच्छी अच्छी वाली, that company will focus on DSA. If the company is average, that company will focus on DSA थोड़ा सा, then core थोड़ा सा, and then project थोड़ा सा. If that company is काफी low, then probably your project itself and थोड़ा बहुत core, no DSA or very less DSA, और थोड़ा सा aptitude पूछ लिया तो पूछ लिया. That is how the bifurcation of companies is in the placement season. How much time will it take to get up to DP, and what should I the best approach to get DP in less time? DP या DP में ऐसे कुछ खास नहीं है, जस्ट इट इज कि ठीक है तुम DP में रिकर्शन बनाते कैसे हो। तुम्हें सी मैंने देखा है कि लोग पूरा प्लेलिस्ट बना देते हैं कि ये पैटर्न DP का, ये पैटर्न लोगों ने, ऑल दो इट इज गुड, ठीक है, बट तुमने 18 पैटर्न बना दिए DP के, तो पता है बच्चे क्या करते हैं, बच्चे सोचते हैं कि मैं सोचा अच्छा ये क्वेश्चन हो सकता है DP का है, अगर ये क्वेश्चन DP का है तो आदित्य वर्मा ने पढ़ाए थे DP के 18 अप्रोच, मेरे नोट्स कहां हैं, अरे DP का कौन सा अप्रोच से मैच कर रहा है ये, अबे तुम्हें क्यों लगाना इतना दिमाग? तुम सिंपल, तुम्हें लग रहा है कि ये DP का है तो सिंपल है ना, जस्ट मेक अ रिकर्जन एंड सिंपली अप्लाई अ DP। तुम देखो कि इससे रिकर्सिव कैसे बनेगा, तुम क्यों पीछे आते हो? सो देखते हो कि अच्छा हाँ मेरे नोट्स कहां हैं, ये पढ़ाया था, ये पढ़ाया था, ये पढ़ाया था, ये देखूंगा, ये अप्रोच अच्छा ये किससे रिलेट करता है। नैपसैक प्रॉब्लम इज अ स्टैंडर्ड वन, तो लोग कहते हैं कि हाँ उससे कर लो रिलेट, बट उसके अलावा भी आई ऑलवेज से कि DP में ऐसा कुछ मत देखो, जस्ट स्टार्ट टू बिल्ड द रिकर्सिव पार्ट, एंड रिकर्सिव पार्ट बिल्ड करने के लिए कुछ बहुत बड़ा वो नहीं चाहिए, सिंपल है, you can just go and search on YouTube itself dynamic programming problems, although मैंने playlist बना रखी DP की भी, but I'm not recommending that playlist, I'm recommending dynamic programming problem playlist by Aryan Mittal, just search, तो उसमें प्रॉब्लम्स मिलेंगी, जहां पे प्रॉब्लम्स रैंडमली होंगी, तो वहां पे कोई पैटर्न नहीं दिखाया मैंने तुम्हें कि अच्छा ये है फिर ये है फिर ये है फिर ये है ना, प्रॉब्लम्स आर रैंडम, प्रॉब्लम रैंडमली आ गई, हम रैंडमली उससे रिकर्सिव बिल्ड कर रहे हैं, फिर उससे रैंडमली हम देख रहे हैं कि अच्छा DP अप्लाई कैसे हो रही है। दैट इज हाउ यू कैन एक्चुअली लर्न DP। मैंने ये गलती बहुत करी, मैंने लोगों की DP प्लेलिस्ट पढ़ी, ये पढ़ा वो पढ़ा, एक आइडिया मिल जाता है ठीक है, बट उससे DP कभी अच्छी हुई नहीं मेरी। The day I started working on DP problems, then building the recursions, all that stuff, that where my DP starts to get better. So यार तुम्हारी मर्जी है, तुम्हें प्लेस करनी है, तुम 5 बार करो 80 बार करो, करते रहो, बट अगर इफ यू वांट टू गेट कि तुम प्रॉब्लम देखो, तुम अपने आप बिना थिंकिंग की ठीक है ये किससे रिलेट करता है, किस प्रॉब्लम से करता है रिलेट, ये बिना थिंकिंग, वैसे थिंकिंग आई मीन की है, तुम प्रॉब्लम में आधा आ चुके हो आगे, फिर तुम्हें रियलाइज हो रहा है कि अच्छा ये तो इससे करता है रिलेट, इट्स गुड, बट प्रॉब्लम के स्टार्टिंग में ही तुम सोच रहे हो कि यार ये किससे करता है, मैं पहले ये देखूंगा कि ये किससे करता है रिलेट, उसके बाद में करूंगा सॉल्व इसे, बहुत ही गंदी अप्रोच है, बहुत ही गंदी अप्रोच है ये। सो दैट इज नॉट दैट इज फॉर बिगिनर्स, मतलब बहुत स्टार्टिंग में तुम अगर बिल्कुल ही तुम्हें DP नहीं आता, तुम फिर पढ़ रहे हो DP, तो इट्स गुड, तुम्हें थोड़ा एक्चुअली में इजी लग रहा है स्टार्टिंग में पढ़ना, थोड़ा सही लगता है, बट एज यू नो DP का थोड़ा सा बेसिक DP का, देन इट्स गुड टू एक्चुअली सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम्स एंड स्टार्ट टू बिल्ड की ठीक है रिकर्शन कैसे बनेगा, इसका रिकर्शन बन गया, ठीक है, और रिकर्जन भी ऐसे नहीं कि ठीक है अपना बन गया रिकर्जन, रिकर्जन बनाने के लिए भी यू हैव टू थिंक ओके रिकर्जन ऐसे ऐसे बन सकता है, ऐसे ऐसे बन सकता है, इसके लिए क्या क्या चाहिए मुझे रिकर्जन के लिए, रिकर्जन कैसे 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 बनेंगे, ऑल दैट स्टफ आई हैव टू एक्यूमुलेट इन. सो दैट इज ऑल वेयर द डीपी कम्स इन पिक्चर. सो या दैट इज हाउ आप डीपी कर सकते हैं. वामसी लाफिंग, भैया बहुत डर लग रहा है, डीएसए कर रहा हूँ, ट्रीज खत्म है हुआ है, सेकंड ईयर खत्म हो गया है. यार अभी तुम सेकंड ईयर में हो यार, बहुत टाइम है स्टिल, इसमें कोई डरने की बात नहीं है यार, हो जाएगा सब, बस बी कंसिस्टेंट एंड डू इट. एप्टीट्यूड ऑनलाइन टेस्ट से कितना डेज पहले करूं? 2 हफ्ते पहले, अगर टाइम है तो अभी कर लो, बाद में रिवाइज कर लेना, बट हाँ 2 हफ्ते, इट विल टेक हार्डली 1 हफ्ता टू डू एप्टीट्यूड. सो बट आई विल रिकमेंड कि अगर टाइम है तो अभी कर लो, बाद में रिवाइज कर लेना. Bro, what is this life? Yaar, always studying, learning, new problem solving. Aryan, I did not understand how you enjoy your life. अगर किसी को देखना है how I enjoy my life, just go and look at the Instagram. You will see how I do it. Instagram is the best place to look at my personal life. That's the reason. यहां पे नहीं दिखेगा भाई, तुम जाके एक बार देखो, just go and see the highlights part itself of my stories. And you will see कि क्या बकचोदी चल रही है मेरी स्टोरीज के अंदर. आई एम वेरी डिफरेंट इन लेक्चर्स एंड काफी ज्यादा बकचोद इन इंस्टाग्राम. सो यू कैन जस्ट गो एंड लुक एट माई इंस्टाग्राम. डोंट फॉलो एंड स्टफ, जस्ट गो एंड लुक, स्टॉक एंड प्ले द वीडियोज एंड स्टफ. यू विल सी कि कितनी बकचोदी चल रही है वहां पे. भैया 2 महीने में इंटर्नशिप आने वाली है, वेब डी करूं या इंटरव्यू प्रेप? दोनों भाई, दोनों 80% इंटरव्यू प्रेप, 20% वेब डी करनी पड़ेगी भाई. वैसे वेब डी, just get a project made, understand the project, and that's done. I am in my 3rd year till July, solved 450 DSA questions, give some advice to how to crack a job more than 13 LPA. भाई हो जाएगा, सब हो जाएगा. सी मैंने कहा ना कि I have specifically made that particular sheet, DSA 169 sheet. नहीं मिल रही कोई बात नहीं, just write on YouTube Aryan DSA 169 sheet या फिर सीरीज. सिंपली है भाई, 1 महीने में 1.5 मंथ में कंप्लीट हो जाएगी. जस्ट फट 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 लगा लो, वो वैसे फट फट लगा लो. सिंपली अंडरस्टैंड द प्रॉब्लम. ऐसा नहीं कि तुम बस वीडियो देख रहे हो, काम खत्म. हर प्रॉब्लम से तुम्हें समझ में आना चाहिए. डीएसए 169 शीट खत्म होने के बाद अगर मैं तुमसे कोई भी प्रॉब्लम उठा पूछ लूं, भाई ये बता, तो तुम्हें वो पता होनी चाहिए फ्रॉम वेरी स्क्रैच. विच मीन्स अच्छा इसमें ऐसे ऐसे होगा, इससे ये निकलेगा, इससे ये निकलेगा, इससे ये निकलेगा, तुम्हें सब कुछ पता होना चाहिए. दैट लिजिट व्हाट आई रियलाइज वाज कि मैंने खुद 500 प्रॉब्लम तो सिर्फ लीड कोड पे, 1000 से प्रॉब्लम कोड फोर्सेस पे, 500 से प्रॉब्लम कोड शेफ पे, फिर एड कोडर पे भी किया है, फिर हैकर अर्थ पे भी किया है, हैकर रैंक पे भी किया है. इट वुड हैव बीन मोर प्रॉब्लम्स व्हिच आई प्रैक्टिस्ड, नॉट सॉल्व. आई एम सेइंग प्रैक्टिस्ड कि वो हो सकता है काफी प्रॉब्लम्स हो. बट या I have realized this fact that itni problems is not required to get the concept, to get all the concept, to get all the concept fresh. Just look at that sheet series and that would be done. फट खत्म कर लो उसको, तो तुम्हें कम से कम रिग्रेट नहीं रहेगा कि हाँ मैंने ये नहीं किया. एंड दैट कुछ इसमें बहुत बड़ा कुछ नहीं है, सिर्फ क्वेश्चंस ऑफ 169. दैट्स इट. तुम भूल भी नहीं पाओगे भाई, इतने अच्छे लाइक इतने अच्छे वो हैं नंबर्स हैं. राइट कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करें भाई, कोई प्रॉब्लम डीपी का कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करें? सी धूला भाई, सी एज आई सेड कि कोई प्रॉब्लम डीपी का है एंड अगर तुम्हें करना है आइडेंटिफाई कैसे करें. एंड या बिफोर दैट इफ द फोक्स आर वाचिंग, कैन वी रीच टू 1 मोर लाइक? 100 हो जाएगा यार प्लीज. एज आई सेड, तुम्हें अगर कहीं भी दिक्कत आ रही है ना कि ये क्वेश्चन ग्राफ का है, डीपी का है, बाइनरी सर्च का है, 2 पॉइंटर्स का है, स्लाइडिंग विंडो का है, एरेस का है, हैश मैप का है, तुम्हें समझ नहीं आता कि कैसे अप्लाई होगा. दैट इज द रीजन आई हैव मेड द प्लेलिस्ट. कूल, विच आई शो यू. सी तुम्हें सिंपली बस यूट्यूब पे जाना है एंड लिखना है. सी विच आई शो यू. एक्चुअली तुम्हें मैं कहता रहा हूं, तुम्हें सिंपली यूट्यूब पे जाना है एंड लिखना है आर्यन, अरे यार वर्क्स किंग आ गया, नहीं ये नहीं, ये तुम्हें कह रहा हूं, तुम्हें सिंपली जाना यूट्यूब पे लिखना है. सिंपली जस्ट गो एंड राइट ऑन यूट्यूब. ठीक है, दिख गया है मेरा. जस्ट गो एंड firstly let's open YouTube. right, as this YouTube opens, तुम्हें कुछ नहीं करना भाई, मैं कह रहा हूं ना, तुम्हें simply that is visible, right, तुम्हें तुम्हें सिंपली जाना है चैनल पे, स्किप ट्राई, तुम्हें दिखेगा टीएसए वाइज इंपॉर्टेंट प्रॉब्लम्स, ठीक है। अगर सपोज तुम्हें डीपी समझ में नहीं आ रही है, ठीक है, तुम्हें लगता है कि तुम्हें इंट्यूशन नहीं आ रहा कि कैसे करते हो सॉल्व डीपी प्रॉब्लम्स, मैं ये कहा कि बैठ के जाके डीपी प्लेलिस्ट देखो, ना 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 वो करना ही नहीं है। तुम्हें एक बार तुमने डीपी पढ़ ली, किसी से तुम्हें पढ़ ली, अब तुम्हें डीपी समझनी है कि ठीक है अप्लाई कैसे करते हैं, ग्राफ को समझते कैसे कि यहां पे अप्लाई होना है, तो सिंपली जस्ट गो एंड ओपन दिस प्लेलिस्ट कंप्लीट डीपी प्रॉब्लम्स सॉल्व बाय आर्यन। अब इसके अंदर वी हैव गेट द प्रॉब्लम्स रैंडमली, हम प्रॉब्लम उठा रहे हैं रैंडमली एंड सिंपली सॉल्विंग इट। तो हम इससे इंट्यूशन ला रहे हैं, ठीक है, रिकर्शन कैसे बनता है, सॉल्व कैसे करते हैं रिकर्शन को, ऑल दैट स्टफ वी आर ब्रिंगिंग इन पार्ट। सो अरे यार फक आई डिड नॉट शेयर द स्क्रीन एक्चुअली, वेट अ सेकेंड, या सो बेसिकली इफ यू जस्ट गो ऑन टू अ यूट्यूब चैनल एंड सी, तो सिंपली कुछ नहीं करना अपन को, कहां गया, या सिंपली यहां पे यू विल सी कंप्लीट डीपी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग बाय आर्यन। सी मैं ये नहीं कह जाके तुम प्लेलिस्ट पढ़ो, ग्राफ प्लेलिस्ट, डीपी प्लेलिस्ट, मैथ प्लेलिस्ट नहीं, प्लेलिस्ट नहीं पढ़नी है, प्रॉब्लम्स की प्लेलिस्ट देखनी है, बिकॉज प्रॉब्लम्स की प्लेलिस्ट में ना हर प्रॉब्लम रैंडमली आ रही है तुम्हारे पास, कोई पैटर्न नहीं सिखा रहा तुम्हें, कुछ नहीं सिखा रहा मैं, प्रॉब्लम को रैंडमली देख के कैसे पता लगाते हैं कि उसमें लगना क्या है, कैसे लगना है, डीपी लगनी है तो कैसे बिल्ड करना है रिकर्शन, ऑल दैट स्टफ वी आर ब्रिंगिंग इन। तो ये सब पार्ट इनसे आएगा प्लेलिस्ट से, ग्राफ प्लेलिस्ट है, ग्राफ प्रॉब्लम प्लेलिस्ट है, एरे की प्लेलिस्ट है, वहां जहां पे एरे लिखा है ना बैटरी डेड, बट जहां पे एरे लिखा है, वेट अ सेकेंड माय बैटरी इज डेड, आई विल स्विच द कैमरा, लेट्स मी स्विच द कैमरा, HD webcam, cool. Also let's switch the audio because that is also done. I'll quickly switch off microphone. Yep. Right. Yep. Now see, that is simply what I have to do. Simply go and मैंने कहा ना कि तुम्हें वो नहीं करना, तुम्हें प्रॉब्लम्स हर उठा के देखनी नहीं है सच कुछ, बस सिंपली हमें जाना है, ठीक है, ग्राफ प्रॉब्लम प्लेलिस्ट देख लिया, एरे वाली प्रॉब्लम प्लेलिस्ट के अंदर एरे, हैशिंग, 2 पॉइंटर्स, मैप, सब कुछ है, सब कुछ में मिल जाएगा। 150 क्वेश्चंस आर दी बेस्ट क्वेश्चंस व्हिच आई हैव सीन की, ठीक है, मतलब ये क्वेश्चन मुझे अच्छे लगते रहते हैं, मैं इसमें ऐड करता रहता हूं। जो भी तुम्हें लगता है कि जो क्वेश्चंस तुम्हें आर्यन 169 शीट में नहीं मिलेंगे, ऑडियो क्लियर, यप, हेलो 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 हेलो, क्या जो तुम्हें लगता है ना कि जो क्वेश्चंस तुम्हें आर्यन 169 शीट में नहीं मिलेंगे, जो अच्छे क्वेश्चंस हो सकते हैं, वो सब क्वेश्चंस मैं इस शीट इस प्लेलिस्ट पे ऐड करता रहता हूं। यहाँ पे सारे एकदम बेस्ट एकदम चुम्मा क्वेश्चंस मिलेंगे तुम्हें। दैट इज हाउ यू हैव टू यूटिलाइज, ठीक है, ट्री प्लेलिस्ट है, बाइनरी सर्च की प्लेलिस्ट है, ट्राई की प्लेलिस्ट है, 3D प्लेलिस्ट है, स्टैक क्यूज की प्लेलिस्ट है, तो तुम्हें ऐसे इन प्लेलिस्ट को यूटिलाइज करना है। नाउ यू नो कि तुम्हें करना क्या है, तुम्हें ऐसे यूटिलाइज करना है, ठीक। तो प्लीज गो एंड यूटिलाइज दिस स्टफ, इट इज स्पेसिफिकली मेड फॉर यू गाइस, ठीक है। मतलब व्हाई आई पुट सो मच एफर्ट इन मेकिंग अ प्लेलिस्ट आउट, मतलब आई कुड हैव जस्ट मोर डन, ठीक है, वीडियोस बन गई, वीडियोस आ गई, दैट इज इट, राइट। अब मुझे दिक्कत क्या है, मतलब मुझे क्यों बनानी क्यों है प्लेलिस्ट, क्यों बनानी है प्लेलिस्ट, क्यों बनानी है प्लेलिस्ट, क्यों? सिंपली बिकॉज ये तुम्हें एक्चुअली में हेल्प करेगी, तुम्हें प्रैक्टिस करनी, तुम्हें लर्न करना है कि सॉल्व करते कैसे हैं, प्लेलिस्ट में चलेगा। एंड ये प्लेलिस्ट वाली नहीं है कि तुम्हें दिखा रहा हूं अच्छा ये पैटर्न है, ये ऐसा पैटर्न है, ठीक है, पैटर्न विल कम इन जब तुम प्रॉब्लम से इंट्यूशन निकालना, कि प्रॉब्लम से सॉल्व कैसे करते हैं वो निकालना सीख जाओगे। कूल यार, टाइम काफी हो चुका है, लेट्स क्विकली एंड दिस स्ट्रीम। व्हाट कोर्स यू डूइंग? आई एम नॉट डूइंग एनी कोर्स ब्रो, I am working in Goldman Sachs. I learned good. Yep, yeah, that is good. Yeah, Java. See, basics is just more of less. हम कर लेते हैं फटफट. And that would be it. But yeah, meanwhile, if the folks are watching in, can we have 4 more likes? We can reach 110. How you won so many good medals, golds in college? उसके मैंने वीडियो बनाई है. If you don't know, I have made a video for that too. If you just go down and look, 10+. See, एक तो ये वीडियो है, किसी को देखना है कि how to make projects, please go and look at this video, projects की. For gold medals also, I have made a video. See, मैंने कहा ना कुछ फाड़ नहीं करना होता. See, how I get 4 gold medals in college. Just watch this video and that would be it. मतलब भाई बहुत ही ज्यादा आसान होता है गोल्ड मेडल्स लाना। कुछ बस ये होता है कि तुम्हें हैक पता होना चाहिए। मैंने कहा ना कि इंटरव्यू इज ऑल्सो इजी टू क्रैक, बस तुम्हें हैक पता होना चाहिए कैसे करना है। अगर तुम्हें अभी चाहिए, सी इंटरव्यूज आने वाले हैं, तुम्हें चाहिए कोई हैक टू क्रैक द इंटरव्यू, जस्ट मेक श्योर यू गो एंड लुक एट दिस वीडियो, नेवर से दिस स्टफ और नेवर गेट रिजेक्टेड इन इंटरव्यू। भाई फॉर श्योर मजा आ जाएगा। जस्ट गो एंड लुक एंड फॉर श्योर दैट वुड बी ग्रेट। सो या हाउ ब्रो मीटअप यार, रखेंगे वामसी मीटअप। नॉट विजिबल यार, आर स्क्रीन शेयर तो करो ब्रो, या स्क्रीन शेयर हो रही है ब्रो। व्हेन यू आर बिगिनिंग देन व्हाट टाइप ऑफ चैनल्स और स्टफ यू फॉलोड इनिशियली? इनिशियली आई जस्ट यूज टू सॉल्व कॉन्टेस्ट, तो जो कॉन्टेस्ट के बाद वीडियो पोस्ट करते थे मैं वो देख लिया करता था, जैसे मैं अब पोस्ट कर रहा हूँ। तो इफ यू हैड लुक बैक, तो पहले मैं भी करता था कोड फोर्सेस वगैरह का वीडियो पोस्ट, तो मैं वही देखा करता था कि कोड फोर्सेस वगैरह कोई पोस्ट कर रहा है तो मैंने देख लिया क्या बना रहा है बंदा, लीड कोड का देख लिया क्या क्या कर रहा है बंदा, एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ। मैंने एज सच लेक्चर्स बहुत ही कम पढ़े हैं किसी के, कोई 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 कंसेप्ट नहीं आ रहा तो उसका देख लिया, बट एज सच बैठ के मैं प्लेलिस्ट लगा रहा हूँ लोगों की। स्टार्टिंग में लगाई थी ग्राफ की, बट फिर छोड़ दी बीच में, जस्ट बिकॉज वो प्लेलिस्ट नॉट दैट हेल्पफुल। जो कंसेप्ट लगा कि हाँ ठीक है ये वाला कंसेप्ट पढ़ना है, वो पढ़ लिया एंड बाय दैट सिंपली क्लोज इट। बैकएंड का कोई कोर्स यार सिंपली यूडेमी पे देख लो कि कौन सा बेस्ट कोर्स है एंड उसका हैक मिल जाता है। कोर्सेरा नहीं, course.org कुछ करके वेबसाइट है, वहां से उठा सकते हो। मैं बात करता हूँ पूरा ब्लंट, तो फॉर श्योर यहाँ पे कोई फिल्टर नहीं होता कि नहीं यार तुम्हें ये नहीं करना चाहिए, एथिकल नहीं है, वो नहीं है, एथिकल वगैरह बाहर में जाएगा। तुम अभी स्टूडेंट्स हो, एथिकल वगैरह देखते हैं जब पैसे होते हैं जेब में, पैसे नहीं होते जेब में तो एथिकल वगैरह कुछ किसी काम नहीं होता। हाउ टू बिकम पीरो लाइक यू? मुझे पीरो बनना है वैसे, लाइक मी, बढ़िया। व्हाट इज योर रोल ब्रो? सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर ब्रो, यशवंत सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर। हाय उदय प्रकाश हर्ष, हाय उदय प्रकाश हर्ष, कौन है भाई उदय प्रकाश हर्ष? नोट जेसन एक्सप्रेस, कूल कूल, दैट इज ऑल, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर जॉइनिंग इन, आई होप दैट यू गाइस लाइक्ड इट, सी यू इन बाय, टेक केयर, बाय 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 बाय, थैंक यू सो मच, बाय। मीनवाइल बिफोर गोइंग, कैन वी रीच टू लाइक्स टू 110, just 4 more likes, that would be great. Cool. See you guys in the next video. Probably the lecture of graphs series is coming in at 5 p.m. today. I will record that and will post that lecture. And also I will try to record one more lecture today of graph, because graph का काफी दिन से नहीं आ रहा था and I get a time today, so I will just try to have that. So yeah, cool. Bye bye, goodbye, take care. And before doing, can we reach to 110? Just 4 more likes. That would be great. Cool. Bye bye. Tata, goodbye. And please make sure that you utilize this channel playlist by sure, like for sure. That's the reason I've accumulated all the good problems, logic, concept, ordered the problems. Playlists have specifically been designed for you. So please make sure that you utilize this. करते क्या हो भाई, वीडियो बनाता हूँ। cool. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. Bye. Good night. Sorry. गुड मॉर्निंग हो रही है, गुड नाइट ही कर रहा हूँ मैं, बट कूल। 110 likes, just 3 more likes, cool, but yeah, bye bye, thank you so much, love you, bye bye.